the Thursday edition. It's draft day, kind of, edition. Hey, Packers not the only ones without a first-round pick tonight, right? Broncos don't have one. Falcons don't have one. So, hey, pick free for a few. And then there's the Dallas Cowboys who have two, and the Giants who have two, and the Jets who have two. Not sure you'd rather be the Giants, Jets, or Cowboys edition. And the always nice when you can sneak in a reference to the Pickler in your story on channel3000.com edition of Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and, of course, everything you need on the amazing, stupendous, magnificent, phenomenal ESPN Wisconsin app, which A, is all free, B, can be found in your Apple and Android app stores, and C, can be customized so you can move the little Wilde and Tausch icon right into position number 1 so you can get to our show very easily. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay, where there is no NFL draft being hosted. It's in Pittsburgh. People are drinking Yinglings and cheering for Mike Tomlin in his new role on television. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. And Mr. Pickler himself, Packers Hall of Famer, is in his undisclosed location. He is Mark Tauscher. Good morning, Tausch. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Great job getting the Pickler up in Green Bay in your article. I'm an avid reader of yours and found a way to get the Pickler in there, which is
when
nice.
I send you the links. It was fun. So the premise of my story today is that just because the Packers do not have a first-round pick doesn't mean everybody's taking the night off. Although a coaches versus personnel guys pickleball tournament is a fun idea. I think they should do it when they do have some free time. I know Matt LaFleur has that membership. I don't know how much he's used it. I don't know how his game is. He's got to be careful because when he plays pickup basketball, he tears an Achilles, so he's got to be careful out there. But we'll get to that coming up. Tausch, I love, you know this. I hate the lead up to the draft. I don't. The draft industrial complex. Hey, check out my 9th 7-round mock draft. That's not my deal. I don't want to read your guesses on who the pick might be. That's not my thing. I take a look at where the Packers stand.
By the way, who did you guess pick on your TV show last night that you
Chris Brazzell. He is a wide receiver from Tennessee. He led the SEC in receiving last year. I did it because I thought we were going to talk about our picks on television, and instead they just revealed them at the end of the show, because I think there's a conversation to be had about where they're at wide receiver. And you and I talked about it a little bit earlier this week.
I think it'd be crazy to pick a wideout with the second-round pick. I just love the fact
let's get
that
nuts.
You just said, I can't stand. Jesse, that's the ironic part. I can't stand when they do these mock drafts. But here's mine for Channel 3000.
I was hoping we were going to talk
gonna
about
bring
it
that
on
up.
TV.
You asked.
I wish we were going to talk about it because I wanted to say more about my mock draft selection.
You were just railing against the.
I can't tell him no. I'm not doing it.
Yes, you can.
No.
You do that to us all the time.
Yeah, I'm not.
You do that to us all the time. I'm not going to say that. I'm not doing that.
Pass.
But Chris Roth asks you to make an outlandish pick 52 down the road, and you despise mock drafts, and you do it. And a wideout, I would say outside of a safety, and quarterback. Probably the last spot.
Terrible pick.
Can you imagine? It's a shame that you're not on tomorrow, because if somehow
can you get Chris
Roth? They brought Chris Brazzell in for a visit. He was one of their 30 visits. Well, what do you mean? So what? So was Matthew Golden last year.
Yeah.
Throwing the Vikings off the scent is all.
Golden. Yeah, it's the subterfuge, as Jason Wilde likes to say.
I do love subterfuge. No, the reason I picked him, other than the fact that I just wanted to.
You've been doing that pregame show with Strofe before games for 3 years now, and you haven't answered one of his questions. And then they call you up
but
for
his
TV.
game sucks.
Hey, pick a mock draft in the second round. Oh, sure, happy to.
I hate to say this, but Chris Roth needs to be a part of our team. I don't know what Chris Roth gets it out of Jason.
He gets the best out of you.
So does Brian Burns over at Channel. We're failing to get Jason to respond. Yes,
it's just not true. I didn't have a solution at Channel 3000. I didn't make a pick.
Not yet.
There.
Burns, he'll call you and tell you to do it, and you'll have that thing up in 5 minutes. No. That's how this thing works.
Only prediction I made was Chris Brazzle, as in Frazzle, which I am now. Look, do you think they'll go through 8 picks? Let's say they don't make any trades, up or down. Then they pick 8 guys.
Yep.
Do you think there'll be a wide receiver selected?
Yes, but not before Saturday, mid-Saturday. I don't think they're going to grab. Now, if there's somebody that falls, I think
like Chris Brazzle.
There's now talk of Dallas maybe grabbing a wideout at 12, and then trading
Pickens is going to be mad. Yeah,
he's going to be mad or trading. I think it would be you trade Pickens. So. I don't know how many wideouts there are, and this is one of the things because Green Bay hasn't, we don't have a first-round pick, so I don't think we used to delve into these mocks and, oh, my God, they have him going 20-30, Cooper to Gene, and all these other that we've heard on Jesse's montages. So I don't know how well-versed I am as far as how many wideouts are going to go, but looking at the roster and understanding some of the needs and where some of these position groups are a little bit stronger, I'm never going to be shocked unless it's a quarterback, but a wide receiver is way down on my list of things that the Green Bay Packers need to improve from a depth standpoint, at least for Friday, and then potentially grab somebody in the 6th, 7th round, take a flyer on an upstart that's got big wheels, and let him go. But going in the 2nd or 3rd round, I'd be very surprised if it was wide receiver.
All right, so they do not have a pick tonight. They do not have a pick
yet.
In the 2027 first round.
Schneider's going to trade that pick. It's just if Gutey wants it or not, if there's somebody that he's chomping.
So
you just know Schneider's going to trade that pick.
Yeah, he's got like 4 or 5 picks. He wants more picks. You're totally right. And he has a history of trading a lot, either
he's
up or down, and a dealer.
He's a wheeler.
But I would be surprised. That would surprise me if they end up with a pick tonight. That will surprise me.
Me too.
So we'll see if that happens. But I was reading something from my buddy Mike Reese, who covers the Patriots, and Mike Vrabel, in which Elliot Wolf, who doesn't have the technical GM title but is essentially their GM. He's their director of football operations.
Something tells me he's going to be getting more power here shortly.
Yeah. He said that basically this draft has the top 20, and then from 20 to 50, it's basically all kind of the same player in terms of where they're graded.
And then 52 stinks. There's
and then
nobody
52,
that's going to
you're
be any
screwed.
good at 52.
Yeah, then you're done. You're cooked. If that's the case, does that make it more or less likely that you would want to expend other draft capital if you're at 52? And obviously he rounded those numbers, so I don't think he's saying that, well, if you get past 50, there's nobody there. But the idea that there's 20 guys that you're like, these guys are first-round picks, and then the next 30 guys you're like, well, it depends kind of what ice cream flavor you like on whether he's a first-round pick or a second-round pick. Does that make it more or less likely that you would want to go up to go get someone?
It's all dependent on how you evaluate and what your deal is. Here's what I would say. The thing that hurts Green Bay is you don't have that monster quarterback group that everybody's chasing. I don't know if there's even going to be a second quarterback that comes off. There's rumors that, Chip Beck from Miami is coming, or
Chip.
Yeah, the other dude that Alabama's quarterback.
Ty
By the way,
Simpson.
Alabama's quarterback, he was impressive going against Wisconsin's defense. I thought he threw it about as well as anybody I watched last year. Against our defense got better as the season went on. But I thought down there, he diced us up much better than Mendoza did. And I don't think even better than Sayin at Ohio State. So I was impressed with him coming out of that game. I know he got hurt and dipped. But typically when you're in this spot and you don't need a quarterback, which Green Bay, that has been the case for every year but two that the Packers have drafted, they have never had to chase that quarterback. And when you don't have to chase that quarterback, typically everybody else does. That allows you to have players slide that maybe otherwise wouldn't. This doesn't feel like a player slide type of draft because of that quarterback spot. Now, things can get crazy. We saw Jackson Dart go last year. There's always that rush to maybe try and get in that last 3 or 4 spots of that first round if you have a quarterback that you like. Pittsburgh, there's teams that are going to go hunting if they like somebody, and that will help Green Bay. But as far as all this other stuff goes, I think if you move a few spots, I kind of go off of your premise in Brian Gutekunst wants to have a bunch of picks. I think he felt after he got rid of Micah, or after he got Micah and got rid of those 2 first-round picks, I think he's been chasing and scrambling, finding ways to recoup as many of those picks as he can to try and be able to leverage in case there is somebody at 47, 48, 49 that he is just enamored with, and he has to give up a 4th and his spot to go get it. I think he wants to have that flexibility, and Gutey has shown he ain't scared. If there is somebody that he really wants, he'll pay the price to go get it. He did it with Jordan Love, and he obviously did it with Micah Parsons.
If they make a pick solely on, since you won't be here tomorrow, if they don't trade up and they pick at 52 tomorrow, and they pick solely on need, which I want to thank Mike Miller, 5119. A reporter whose life it has been for decades to cover the Packers chooses a wide receiver for Green Bay's first pick when that is one of the only areas of the team with depth. What a moronic choice. Again, thought it was going to lead to a conversation. It did not occur both on television or here. But I can't wait for them to pick Chris Brazzell now. That would be amazing.
I mean, you should go with Jesse when he's ready for his conversation, because you wanted a conversation.
Don't get us wrong. If you wanted to have the Chris Brazzell drafting a wide receiver conversation here with your prediction, we'd be happy to have that conversation.
I want to hear why you feel like that's the case. Now, if he's such a talent and he should have been a late first-round pick, and the Packers look at this, I will immediately say if they draft Chris Brazzell in the second and 52, that tells me Christian Watson's gone or Jaden Reed's gone.
Yeah,
that's what that tells me.
Right.
I don't think either of those are in play. So that's why I just don't think it's viable. But, again, sometimes things fall into your lap that you have to pounce on. And I didn't watch Brazzell. I don't know if he's got razzle and if he's got dazzle. And if he can. So if you're telling me you broke down this film, watched Tennessee and said, this guy's going to fit with what we do and we could use him, all right, now I'm intrigued. But I got a hunch it was more of a you wanted to be provocative, which I like.
He came for a visit, and I understand that does not guarantee that the Packers are going to draft him. I am not, in fact, a moron. But I will say that when they bring guys in for a visit, they don't do the subterfuge thing. They don't. They value those picks and those visits. And so they obviously view him as someone. The dude led the SEC in receiving. It is a good draft, from what I understand, and I'm no Mel Kiper, but there's wide receivers to be had on day 3, so maybe this guy falls. I am not in any way confident that they're going to pick him at 52, which is what I was trying to get to, which is if they pick solely on need, what will that position be? We'll talk about that coming up after Tausch tells us about if you need windows, you can also draft the best windows available, because those come from Gina Della and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
No doubt. And if you've been putting off replacing your windows and doors, now is the time, because Pella of Wisconsin is offering 0 interest financing all the way till 2030. That is correct. 0% interest until 2030. I would argue about as same amount of percentage that the Packers draft a wideout with that 52nd pick, but I could be wrong. I'm not wrong about Pella. And in Wisconsin, your home, it does take a beating year-round. The right windows and doors, they improve comfort, boost energy, efficiency, and upgrade your home's look. Pella's experts will help you find the perfect fit for your home and within your budget at 0 interest until 2030. You can upgrade now and pay over time without paying a dime in interest. Don't wait. Visit PellaWI.com today to learn more.
Getting you ready for tonight's first round of the NFL Draft, in which the Packers are not slated to pick. Stick around anyway. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
The Green Bay Packers select.
It's officially draft week, and ESPN Wisconsin is your home for everything you need to know.
If there are going to be teams that are interested in moving up to get a specific player, that feels to me to be exactly what Gutey needs.
From the first pick to the final name called, we've got it all. Thursday to Saturday, live and local with wall-to-wall coverage. 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, or ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
When you're getting married, the rings matter. There's something you wear for a lifetime. That's why my fiance and I went to Paul's Jewelers. Paul's Jewelers specializes in custom jewelry for life's biggest moments. Lab-grown or natural diamonds, great pricing, and a lifetime warranty, so your jewelry can be refurbished, repaired, or refitted anytime down the road. Their team made the entire process easy and stress-free. I can't wait to show off my wedding band after our big day. Create your masterpiece today by visiting Paul's Jewelers in West Allis.
Your local bar could be your ticket to a global stage. Michelob Ultra's Soccer Shootout is giving fans the chance to win tickets to the FIFA World Cup 26 at New Berlin Entertainment this Thursday starting at 6 p.m. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at Puddler's Hall, Maddie's, and Nomad on Brady. Your neighborhood, your shot at the world's biggest game. Play for the chance to witness history. Michelob Ultra, official beer sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 26. Enjoy responsibly. 2026 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21+. Void where prohibited.
Hi, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Most contractors cut corners and disappear when there's a problem. Not us. Since 1997, we've completed over 60,000 projects, earned thousands of 5-star reviews, and were named 2025 Roofing Magazine Contractor of the Year. We set the standard for exterior remodeling. Trusted by homeowners, proven every single day. We're excited to show you why choosing Infinity means peace of mind. Visit infinityexteriors.com to see why your neighbors trust Infinity.
You can search for the biggest bat selection, but I'm here to save you time because the best baseball and softball bat selection in the Midwest is right here at Burkhardt Sporting Goods. We stock just about every bat on the market from all the top manufacturers like Easton, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Marucci, and more, and sell them all at the guaranteed lowest prices. So get in here and try a few out in our indoor batting cages. There's no need to look any further because when it comes to bats, if you want it, we got it at Burkhardt Sporting Goods. You can't beat Burkhardt. When you run a team, you want great uniforms, and you know selling spiritwear is vital. That's why Burkhardt Sporting Goods will create a free custom website for you to sell your families and players the coolest spiritwear from Nike and Under Armour, as well as the basics, while helping you fundraise at the same time. We take the hassle out of coordinating your team's apparel and make shopping and buying easy. So when you need awesome spiritwear and uniforms for your organization, you can't beat Burkhardt. You can't beat Burkhardt.
When storms hit or accidents happen, it's not just about property, it's about people. I'm Mandy Grimal-Lococo with Grimal & Associates Insurance. We help families bundle home, auto, and life coverage so you're never facing life's what-ifs alone. With the heavy rains we've seen in Milwaukee, we'll review your policy to be sure water backup, sump pump failures, and flood risks don't drain your wallet. Your home is more than walls and a roof, it's where life happens. At Grimal & Associates Insurance in Shorewood, we're here to protect your home, your family, and your peace of mind. Call us today at 414-332-0838.
2026 Brewers Group tickets are on sale now, and planning your next event at American Family Field has never been easier. Whether it's a company outing, family reunion, or night out with friends, bring your group of 15 or more to the ballpark and enjoy up to 25% off single game tickets with no service fees. All Brewers home games are available now. Start planning today, and a Brewers Group ticket rep will handle the rest. But hurry, tickets are moving fast. Plan your 2026 outing at brewers.com/groups.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
So let's say Brian Gutekunst, whether he trades up to do so or stays at 52, says, you know what? I'm just going to pick for need all night long, all draft long. No matter if there are...
Terrible idea.
Sure. But if he were to do that, let's start at 52 and then 84, which would be his second and third round picks tomorrow, presuming he doesn't trade up with his old buddy Schneids and get number 32. Okay? If he's basing it solely on need, and we're not going to, we talked about D'Angelo Pons, for example, when we talked to Mel Kiper. I don't see the Packers drafting a 5'9", 170-pound slot corner in the second round when they love what Javon Bullard gives them in the slot, and their new defensive coordinator, who we still haven't spoken with, loves to play three safeties at once. So I don't expect Pons to be the guy. But I would say that if you said, who are they picking based solely on need, what position does that player X play, I would say corner. And then I would say offensive lineman, and then I would say defensive tackle. And whether that's that order for the second, third, and fourth round picks, or it's defensive tackle, offensive lineman, corner, whatever the order is, to me, those are no-brainer needs for this team, which, again, I understand some people may think I'm a moron. Apparently, Mike's going to have lunch with Jesse, so I don't know if that's Mike the Wedding DJ or somebody else.
I think that might be Mike the Wedding DJ.
Pretty bold decision.
Mike the Wedding DJ thinks
moron.
You're a moron?
Evidently.
Oh, wow.
He didn't call you a moron. He said your take was moronic. He's describing the take.
That is different.
Not, Q-tip, quit taking it personally.
Jason, that's you critiquing the player, not the play. Or the other way around. You're critiquing his play, not the player.
Yeah, I think when I do something like that with word choice, I'm just avoiding what I really want to say, which is this guy's a moron. So I get it.
Boy,
I know what he's doing.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. And you don't like it.
No doubt I don't. Which is why I try to avoid using that word entirely.
You bring up a fun little exercise here.
Oh, thanks.
So let's do the fact. All right, we're only going on need. Okay, which we all agree. And I can't speak for Jesse or Mike, the Wedding DJ. You don't do. Like, we don't draft just on need. That's where you end up getting players that it doesn't fit, and it becomes a bust situation. I would argue if you're telling me this team's draft, second round pick, third round pick, fourth round pick, you're going to go need. What are you going? I have an easy answer. I'm going O-line, corner. Those are and it's in that order.
So not defensive tackle at all. Like you think with Hargrave and Nazir Stackhouse and Devontae Wyatt and Warren Brinson, they're okay enough that
I think
you
they're
can
a
get
lot
some
better
big guy
up
later.
front. I would have loved for them to keep Enikbare, but they didn't. So I think that you're looking at some guys. I think Lucas Van Ness, if he can stay healthy, I really think between him and Sorrell, I like that group more than I think a lot of other people do. Plus, there are always veterans that I think we can go find Would it be great to go find a young stud? Absolutely it would. But for as much as I heard, I like Jacob Monk, I want an O-lineman, I want somebody. I think they're gonna go find a center or someone that can play guard as soon as they possibly can. Who that's going to be, if it's going to be an Iowa guy, I don't know. But O-line, corner. That's how I see the need of 2, 3, 4.
Okay. I'm going to go.
How would you? I know you got wide receiver, quarterback, tight end.
Safety. By the way, tight end is
safety.
a need. Tight end's a need. Like, let's be honest.
Somewhat, yeah.
They've got a stud.
I won't disagree with you.
If they want to play 2 tight ends, Josh Wiley's the next option.
I'm going to tell you a little secret here. I don't think they're going to do a ton of 2 tight ends. No, I think that 2 tight end streak is
At this time last year, that is exactly what LaFleur wanted to do. That was his vision.
Here's the deal. Musgrave, and then now they like the big fella, as a tackle tight end.
Yes, Darian Kennard.
I think Tucker Kraft as the guy with 3 wides. I think that's going to be more. I just see this thing trending more towards. I don't think you're going to see a 50-50 split. I think what Joe Thomas said. I think there's a lot of things leaning towards, especially when Watson is back and he's healthy with Tucker. I think you're going to see this be more. Let's be more explosive. Let's do some things in a little different way, and let's lean on our 4th-year starting quarterback. I think you're seeing a baton being passed along, and I'm all for it.
At this time last year, Matt LaFleur was talking about how much 2 tight end he wanted to run, and Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave were playing each other in pickleball 3 times a week at the Pickler, getting ready for a season in which they were going to be heavily featured in the offense. As someone who likes to remind us, Eddie Lacy, that the league comes at us quick, what do you make of the fact that a year later, because I think you're right, by the way, Matt LaFleur to be clear, Matt LaFleur has not said, hey, we're going to be a 3 wides and Tucker offense. He has not said that, but I think Tausch is right. I do. But what does that tell you that in a year's time we have flipped? And by the way, they're going to do it with wide receivers, with 2 fewer wide receivers in that gangbuster wide receiver room that was just teeming with guys that were so good that they didn't even have a number 1 because they had so many good guys. They didn't even designate that. And now, a year later, they have 2 fewer wide receivers, but we're still talking about being a 3 wides, 1 tight end style offense.
Yeah. You have to go with what I don't think we've not even seen the Watson-Tucker Kraft dynamic. And, again, this is contingent on Matthew Golden taking a step. I don't need him to be all-world next year, but I want to see what we saw in that playoff game, build off of that. A healthy Jaden Reed. I don't know what their plans are with Savion Williams, but I just feel like that is going to be your core, and then you spread things out a little bit more, and that helps your run game eat a little bit more, because last year, obviously, it wasn't good enough. But this is all contingent on making sure your O-line is healthy and can be effective. But if I'm going to pay a quarterback $55 million, and if Christian Watson's going to be a $30 or $40 million receiver, which we all think at some point he will be, and Tucker Kraft's going to be your top-paid tight end in the league, which is going to happen, you always follow the money, baby. The money's going to tell you what you're doing. They were low-paid guys. They bring in Josh Jacobs on a top-end deal for a running back. Guys, it's not rocket science. They're going to run the football. That's how this works. Now there's a little bit of a cycle change, and this is how I see it, and I think Jordan Love's command is to the point now where Matt LaFleur feels more than comfortable saying, all right, baby, let's go. Let's see what we can go do. That is how I'm looking at this.
I think you and Joe Thomas are right that it's time to let Jordan cook. Now, as you know, as a purveyor of those cooking shows, not everyone makes a masterpiece of a meal when they compete. And those judges can be harsh. So just because you get to cook doesn't mean the meal's going to turn out the way you envision it turning out, especially when they give you weird random ingredients. Like, I don't know, Savion Williams would be like clove or chives or something. I'm not sure what he is, but it'll be interesting to see if he gets to cook how the meal turns out. I want to make my purely need-based picks, and I want Jesse to as well. We'll do that after Tausch tells us about how you need Annex Wealth Management, and you need to be financially literate.
Oh, and you need to register. It's not my event this time, but you need to register for Eric Strom's event today at 1. Again, go over to events.annexwealth.com. It's April, and if you're one of the over 700,000 people getting your annual Wisconsin Retirement System statement, well, Annex has something for you. If you have questions about your statement, how that WRS account should work with your overall retirement plan, join the planning and WRS experts today. Understand your WRSR pension potential. Again, it's a webinar hosted by Annex Wealth Management's Director of Financial Planning, Eric Strom. We're going to walk you through your statement, field all the questions that you have. Again, that's today. Head over to events.annexwealth.com to register for that event at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Jesse and I will make our need-based picks by position. Then we'll get into some trivia. And then Jesse's got a really interesting question for the top of the 10 o'clock hour, which is, what exactly does Gutey have to do over the course of this draft for you to come out and say he did a good job? We'll talk about that. But Jesse and I will make our need-based picks next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Chris McIntosh is out.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Wisconsin weather doesn't ease into spring. It keeps you guessing. That's why your windows and doors need to handle everything. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we build for year-round comfort. Now get 0% interest until 2030. That's years of no interest, so you can upgrade now and pay over time. Plus, enjoy a free in-home consultation, expert installation, and a 10-year limited warranty. But order by April 30th. Schedule today at PellaWI.com.
If you are a junior or senior, a graduating senior, or a parent of a high school basketball player with a goal of playing college basketball, visit the DME Academy Wisconsin program on the beautiful campus of St. John's in Delafield. Training starts in August with top flight coaches, facilities, and academics. You will play against the top players and teams and in front of college coaches across America. Ignite your dream of playing college basketball. Google DME at St. John's Northwestern Academy on the campus of St. John's in Delafield.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
The Island Resort and Casino welcomes you to another unforgettable golf season at Sweetgrass and Sage Run. Beginning in July, stay and play guests can preview the brand new 9-hole Cedar course inspired by the golden age of golf. At the Island, your golf trip becomes a full resort experience with relaxing spa treatments and exceptional dining to thrilling casino action. Courses open May 1st. Plan your golf adventure today at islandresortgolf.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Legacy? Yingling. 197 years family-owned. That's elite. But legends evolve. Meet Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Just 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and it actually tastes like beer. Crisp, clean, goes the distance. No regret in a can here. Your beer should keep up with you. Flight's putting up MVP numbers in the light beer game. The other guys on the bench. Wisconsin, level up. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
It doesn't get any headlines just to be silently good. Big Fish Contracting, we say renovating homes, redeeming an industry.
It's so much more than just, okay, we're replacing your roof.
We're not only educating homeowners, but we're getting to know them and allowing them an opportunity to get to know us. I mean, there's just such beauty in it, you know? If anyone is considering reaching out to us,
or you can check us out on our website, bigfishcontracting.com.
In healthcare, change is constant. Fifth Third Bank helps organizations navigate that change with local expertise and comprehensive financial solutions. From capital structure optimization to revenue cycle support and commercial payment tools, Fifth Third empowers sustainable growth. For nearly 20 years, the Milwaukee team has partnered with healthcare and not-for-profit organizations, building trusted, long-term relationships. Experience the difference only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank National Association, member FDIC.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
We'll play trivia coming up, so get those dialing fingers ready so you can have a chance to win our awesome prize pack from Cousin Subs, where Sid and I ate yesterday after soccer practice. Iron Jock. I was not wearing my Iron Jock hoodie yesterday, but I have worn it a lot. And Vortex Golf, where they love their rangefinders when they play. That's coming up. But first, Jesse, I know you won't have a moronic take, and I don't think mine is either. If we're drafting solely based on need, and the Packers don't have a first-round pick, your second, third, and fourth-round picks based on need are what?
I'm sorry, I was actually distracted because Tausch has not returned to the show yet.
We don't need them. Just make your picks.
Okay, so repeat the question for me. I apologize.
It's the same question I asked going to break. If you're basing your picks solely on need, we're not naming names because we are self-aware here and know that we're not Dane Brugler. Who are you taking in the second, third, and fourth rounds without a first-round pick?
I'm going offensive line first, despite how we all want to go corner. I think offensive line, there are some guys that could be available to step in if needed to start this season. I think the other positions, we have enough, as the Green Bay Packers, we have enough to cover the corner position going into this season. That's all taken care of. I've heard Bulaga and Tausch and Joe Thomas and you and everybody come on here and say how many problems the Packers had on the offensive line last year. And if there's a capable body like Pregnon from Oregon in that second round who can come in and start almost immediately or has A-plus physicality as it's described, that's the kind of player that I'm interested in the second round. So that's what I would address first. Then I would address the secondary, and then I'm with Tausch. I think the defensive line is kind of the later thought, and you see if you can find somebody that could step in and help as you progress to day 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking a little more like Ted Thompson here, because not only do I see these three things as current needs, and by the way, moronic though it may have been, as of right now, the only wide receivers that are under contract for next year are Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. That is also why my reasoning is to go corner here first, because at corner, Keyshawn Nixon's not under contract next year. He did report to the offseason program. And Carrington Valentine's not under contract next year. And I believe Benjamin St. Juste signed a 2-year deal, which, again, you can be excited about him getting his opportunity. By the way, he's 29. Like, he's another guy that is pushing the envelope of the Gutey age range. So I'm going corner first. And then I am going offensive line second. Because
you just went wideout, the moronic wideout pick first.
Indeed, we're drafting based solely on need, not on titillating choices to get conversations started. And then I'm going defensive tackle as well. And look, I don't know what their plan is with Devontae Wyatt. This is a huge year for Devontae Wyatt. Like, he's gotten injured each of the last 2 years. They gave him the 5th-year option, which they did not give to Quay Walker. But, like, they can have him play it out this year and kind of take the – in fairness, he has been just as injured as Christian Watson, frankly. Like, Christian Watson, before he tore his ACL at the end of the 24 season, had played in 15 of the 16 games. Like and look, Devontae Wyatt has moments where he is special. Like, obviously, as an offensive lineman, guys that are that big that can have the kind of quickness that he has shown at times, they're a problem. But again, consistency and availability. So do you let him play it out and then see where you're at with him at the end of the season? I would think so, right? So now you're talking about, and I think Hargrave's contract, I don't care how many years it technically is, I think that's a year-to-year deal, right? And we don't.
Sure it is.
And by the way, he's been good and he's been great under Jonathan Gannon 5 years ago, but he's 33 years old. And Gutey's theory on guys that are in their 30s, there's a reason he has it, and the thinking isn't flawed. That's when guys fall off the table. So that to me, that is a precarious position. I just feel like corner and offensive line are more problematic. And maybe Nazir Stackhouse and maybe Warren Brinson jump up and have great year twos, and you keep Wyatt healthy, and Hargrave has a turn back the clock season, and you don't really need that much help there. Maybe.
So you bring up an interesting thought, because I think we all look at this and say, well, we're really set at this spot because we have guys. And part of the deal is when you don't re-sign guys early, you either are letting them leave or you're going to end up paying more. And it puts more pressure on you as a drafter, because wide receiver, for as much grief as the DJ was giving you, you're right. Like, you have a case where there's only going to be 2 guys under contract, and we just went through a year where everybody was going to be not under contract, right? Watson gets the extension, Dobbs, and so the fact that you can look at it and say, boy, we're thin here, for this upcoming season, when you are a draft and replace, which is what we have done, it makes it a lot more difficult to plan, because your plans are now contingent on a lot of young guys elevating their game from year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3. And if they're not good and they can't, that's when you get stuck and have to go overpay in the free agency market, which Gutey has had to do. And we saw that with Banks, and we've seen that in other cases. Mm-hmm. So while I want to sit here and say, well, we need to address O-line, we need to address corner, which is 100% true, there are other things lingering in the back that we don't know about yet, that we need to get a better understanding of, that Gutey doesn't have figured out. When you start going through the receiving core, their contract situations, there's a lot of uncertainty in an NFL anyways, but it feels as if the Green Bay Packers, there's even more uncertainty than usual, because you're not extending younger players earlier and really solidifying. Outside of Zach Tom, who else have we really approached and figured out and said, this guy's going to be our guy for 5 years? How many guys do we have on this team? Evan Williams will be one of those. Tucker Kraft will be. But right now, I don't know how many of those guys we have.
Right. Again, I understand we all want to think, like you said, kind of in terms of where they're at this year. And by the way, this year and next year are, as we've talked about repeatedly, the real true windows, right? The first 3 years of Micah Parsons' contract. Next year, the quarterback contract becomes more expensive. He's up to $42 million as a cap number. The next year, he's got like a $74 million base salary. That's not what they're going to do. So next year will be decision time on how they want to structure his next contract, because I don't think they're going to start over at quarterback. But that's why you have to try and think of both now and the future. And that's why, as we talked about many times, you love Mike Sherman. So did I. But when the coach is the GM, they think in terms of, what do I need right now so I can keep my job and we can keep winning? And that's why Mike Sherman was not enamored with the selection of one Aaron Charles Rodgers once upon a time, after he'd had his GM title taken away from him, too.
Yeah, and that's why I'm always leery if, when you talk about the Bears or some of these other teams that think we're one player away. You're usually not just one player away. And you can go back to drafting a punter, or you get a little bit pommy. And in Gutey's chair, you better not be pommy. You better have long-term vision to kind of see and understand how things are going to play out. And doesn't mean you don't adjust when things don't. But, boy, you better be a lot more flexible than just to say, God, we're one nickel cornerback away from winning a championship. Because if that is indeed the case, you're usually going to be disappointed. That's where you use the trade deadline and when you actually see what your football team is compared to doing it in April and May.
Agreed. Well, let's be prisoners of the moment with trivia, and let's try and be right on those. Jesse, what's today's category, and which caller would you like?
With the NFL draft tonight and the Packers not having a first-round pick, today's trivia category, what NFL draft year was it? Looking back on some great Packers drafts over the years.
And what caller would you like, Jesse?
Let's go big today. 25, since Green Bay hosted the 2025 NFL draft.
Caller 25 right now. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Caller 25 plays trivia next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
No first-round pick for Green Bay, or will there be? Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Stroh getting ready for ESPN Wisconsin Draft Night coming up Thursday right here on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube, and the ESPN Wisconsin app. I'll be joined by ESPN's John Anderson, Jason Wilde, and former Green Bay first-rounder Brian Bulaga. Beginning at 6 p.m. this Thursday as we take in all the first-round action and see, maybe does Green Bay get back into the first round? ESPN Wisconsin Draft Night this Thursday on ESPN Milwaukee.
An uninspired cookie-cutter trade show booth is unlikely to move the needle.
Picture this: lights, motion, energy, engagement. A space so bold it stops people mid-step.
That's what the award-winning team at Captivate Exhibits has been delivering for over 30 years.
From high-impact trade show exhibits to immersive lobbies, history walls, and culture-driven interiors, Captivate transforms ordinary square footage into unforgettable brand experiences.
Get started today at CaptivateExhibits.com.
An epic Brewers-Pirates series is coming April 24th through the 26th. Kick it off with Star Wars Night on Friday the 24th. And check out a post-game laser show presented by ESPN Milwaukee. Then on Saturday the 25th, get a Brewers Windbreaker giveaway courtesy of Courts. Wrap up the series with Family Sunday fun and kids cheer free. Plus, the first 5,000 kids take home an Abner Uribe poster. Grab a seat at Brewers.com.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point with Chris Canty.
They've been star hunting for a while now. It didn't work out with Damian Lillard a couple of years ago. He ended up getting shipped to the Milwaukee Bucks. I think this is a situation now where you're hoping that you can make a run at being able to get a player like Giannis to build around. Pat Riley has shown once he gets that superstar in the building, he knows how to field a competitive team around him. So I would feel differently about the prospects of the Miami Heat moving forward if they were able to land Giannis this summer, but there is no question about it. The Miami Heat are never going to be in a situation where they can be a top-of-the-lottery type of squad. They're always going to try to be competitive. Based on how today's NBA goes and the elimination of true free agency, then you're going to have to star chase and you're going to have to be able to land a trade and get a superstar talent that can be the best option on a championship-winning team. And Giannis has proven that he can do that, albeit a long time ago.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I am grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as... That's 888-665-0696.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
It is time for some draft-related trivia presented by Iron Jock Cousin Subs and Vortex Golf.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is presented by Iron Jock. No stink, just performance. And proudly Wisconsin-built. Shop now at ironjock.com. By Cousin Subs. Try the new Protein Power Plays. For subs loaded with protein and made with fresh ingredients you love. All for just $7.99. And by Vortex Golf. Rangefinders you can bet on.
Let's welcome in our contestant. It is Jeff in Monroe. Jeff, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How you doing?
I'm very gruntled today.
Good. We're glad to have you gruntled. Let us know if you become disgruntled. It'll most likely be Jesse's fault.
His Super Bowl's over now. Tax season's in the books.
Some of us filed extensions, so he's probably got a few clients that still have some paperwork to do. But nevertheless, right now, he has trivia to play. Jeff, question number one is this. In which NFL draft was it as the category? Mark Tauscher here. And he was drafted with the 224th overall pick. pick. And less notably, Tom Brady was selected with the 199th pick overall in which NFL draft? Was it 1996, 2000, or 1965?
It was a great pick, though, in 2000.
Indeed.
Let's go.
The other member of our cast who joins us on a semi-regular basis, who played with you with the Packers, who was also in that draft, and I believe was one pick ahead of Brady at 198, if I remember correctly. Do you know who it is?
Matt Bowen.
Matt Bowen, indeed. Well done. Question 2, Jeff. The Packers drafted B.J. Raji, 9th overall, and Clay Matthews, 26th overall, with their 2 first-round picks in which NFL draft? Was it 2005, 2007, or 2009?
2009.
Indeed it was, as they switched to the 3-4 under Dom Capers, and somehow miraculously the best player available for Ted Thompson at 9 was a nose tackle, and at 26, well, that's just the way it worked out, Jason. Ted, you traded up to take Clay Matthews. That's not just the way it worked out. You went to get him. Well, it's just the way it worked out, Jason. All right, question 3, Jeff, is this. David Carr was selected number 1 overall. Julius Peppers was selected number 2 overall. And the Packers selected wide receiver Javon Walker 20th overall in the first round of which NFL draft? Was it 2000, 2002, or 2004?
2004.
Indeed, it was not. 2002, the correct answer. 2002. But you said it very confidently. So confidently that I was about to say
I thought he was right the way
you.
I mean, he definitely carried him. Jeff, I thought he had that. I thought he nailed it.
No, 23 years previous to the Matthew Golden selection, it was Javon Walker at the top of the 2002 Packers draft board. All right, Jeff, you got 2 out of 3, which ain't bad. That means you got 3 of the possible 4 entries into our drawing tomorrow. Happy tax season. Thanks for playing. We appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought I'd heard you guys say 2004. I guess my memory's getting bad. You guys have a great day.
That's on Jason, Jeff. Jeff, that's on Jason. He did.
Some might say it was moronic of me to lead you to think that.
He said it on WBAY, though, not on our show.
That is Wildy and Tausch Trivia. We will kick off the 10 o'clock hour with Jesse's A Brilliant Question. Next, it's Wildy and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wildy and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Beautiful day for Brewers baseball. The Brats in one hand, your Brewers checking card from Associated Bank is in the other. And with a tap, it's 20% off gear at the Brewers team store. An express entry so you can tailgate longer. And up to 50% off home game tickets. All that power, all for the crew. Only with Brewers checking from Associated Bank. Join the crew at AssociatedBank.com/Brewers. Member FDIC.
You've always been competitive. At work, in the gym, even with your kids. But lately you feel off. Workouts take longer to recover from. Your drive just isn't there. You know, it might not be your age. It could be low testosterone. At Mentality, we'll get to the bottom of what's really going on and build a personalized plan using testosterone replacement and peptide therapies to help restore your energy, focus, and drive. Get back the energy to being dad again. Book your appointment with Mentality at lowtusa.com. Again, that's lowtusa.com.
When you're getting married, the rings matter. There's something you wear for a lifetime. That's why my fiance and I went to Paul's Jewelers. Paul's Jewelers specializes in custom jewelry for life's biggest moments. Lab-grown or natural diamonds, great pricing, and a lifetime warranty, so your jewelry can be refurbished, repaired, or refitted anytime down the road. Their team made the entire process easy and stress-free. I can't wait to show off my wedding band after our big day. Create your masterpiece today by visiting Paul's Jewelers in West Allis.
Feels like the world is a little broken lately. Maybe all we need is a fix. Most spirits are acidic. Fix Vodka is different. Fix Vodka is the world's first high alkaline, acid-free vodka. Handcrafted with natural spring water and select grain. Clean, smooth, done right. Better water, better vodka. Get your local Fix.
Fix Vodka.
Enjoy responsibly.
We are the home for all your Brewers coverage. 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
So before we get to Jesse's outstanding question, Johnny Montage, I'm a little confused, Jesse. I thought we were doing the start of 11 o'clock hours all week.
We have been all week, and then I was going to mix it up today and do the 10 o'clock because I thought we were going to talk about receivers and Matthew Golden's pick last year. Felt appropriate, but we can do that later. That's okay. We can adjust.
No.
A little audible.
No, it's, I thought this was a really good question because I was moronic earlier in the program. We didn't get to it.
You're triggered, man.
I'm not
You
triggered.
are triggered.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
You've said moronic 31 times.
Do you need Mike
There's a
to
little
call
trigger.
in and apologize?
No,
Can
I
Mike
definitely
call
don't
and
need Mike to
He
apologize?
clarified in the YouTube comments. He was saying the
I think
take was
he's-
moronic,
he's
not that you're a moron.
Definitely triggered, Jason. You know how I know you're triggered is when you say something 150 times in an hour of the show. That's when I know it bothered you.
No, that's not why I was doing it. So,
if Judge Wapner was here, he'd say, "I agree with old Tausch."
If Judge Wapner was here, that would be amazing because he's dead. Let's get to Jesse's idea for a question, which was genius.
You are really hyping up this question a little too much. I think I'd like you to dial it back. So
Well, that's
it
because
doesn't
he's triggered.
disappoint. Yeah.
I'm triggered by Jesse's
get rid of
question.
the triggered. No, you're definitely not. All right, what's the question?
What has to happen over the next 3 days for you to come away feeling like Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst did a good job in the 2026 NFL draft? Because, look, here's why I like this question so much. Because they already have Micah Parsons on their team, which I think is a win, a huge win, right?
No doubt.
So, but that doesn't mean, just like that doesn't mean they're going to spend tonight at the Pickler. That doesn't mean that your work here is done. And as we detailed in the first hour of the program, they got lots of needs, including to some degree wide receiver, which we never thought we would say. And so he's got a lot of work he's got to do. He can't just sit back and go, oh, well, I got you guys, Micah Parsons, and the quarterback I drafted in 2020 is pretty good, so my work here is done. Obviously not.
Right.
So what do you need to see him do to feel that way? I do. Jesse, I don't think I'm overhyping it. Because in Gutey's mind, obviously we always like to say it takes 3 years to know a draft is good or not. I'm not sure that you have that much time anymore, especially if your philosophy is draft and replace. Because if your philosophy is draft and replace, you better be getting contributions from
Did you
guys.
ask Gutey? Did you ask Gutey
sir.
if there's some validity to the draft and replace?
No. So again, as I struggle with,
too far in the back.
It wasn't even so far my location as much my location is. There are some people, Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette and Dave Schrader of WBAY-TV that, just like you, your strength was anchoring, right, against the bull rush. You're taking guys. There's other guys like Devontae Wyatt. His strength is for a big, huge guy. He's got great quicks. Those two, their anticipation of the end of an answer so they can hit the start of their question as the person is finishing the last little morsels of the last word of their answer is unbelievable. Now, at times it backfires because there's an occasional false start, which would be a 5-yard penalty, but more often than not, they nail it. And I just don't have that in my repertoire. I got thoughtful questions. I got long questions. Sometimes they're neither. Sometimes they're both. But anticipatory end of answer,
not your deal.
It's just not my game. I want to make sure that you have completed your thought. Some people are great at interrupting. Some people would say that's their strength. It's not mine. So I did not get to bounce that off of him. How do you think he would? Do you think he would acknowledge that is what the philosophy has now become?
No, I don't.
Do you think it is what the philosophy has become?
No, I don't think it is what it's become. What it's become is, if you're great, we will extend you, and we are more than happy paying freight. If you're not, if we can't get you on our terms, unless we're in dire straits, I look at Sean Ryan as the dire straits deal. They didn't want to pay him. They were in dire straits, and they had to. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, John Runyon, they let go. If you're not a B-plus starter, they believe the cost isn't going to be worth it. We're going to pay top end, and we're going to have to win on the other side of it with young players. And it's on our coaches to develop that young talent into the players that can help us win a championship. That is where he's at with that right now. And I don't think he's said it. I don't think he wants to be a draft and I think he always, Ted embraced the draft and develop.
He did.
Gutey is not in that. That's just not how Gutey looks at things. And there's two different ways of doing it. Gutey has brought in more probably high-end talent, especially when you look at Micah. But we went through this gambit of the Ted Thompson versus Gutey. And, I mean, again, Gutey's only 7 years in, or 8, whatever it is, 8 years in.
So we draft number 9, yep.
I mean, the Ted Thompson, Brian Gutekunst comparisons, it was a Mike Tyson, Michael Spinks deal. Like that, it was not. We couldn't even. We had a hard time finding any matchups that would win in the Gutey category.
Ted Thompson had 13 drafts.
I can't believe Jesse didn't put the Tyson picture up there. I actually paused to allow him time, but
it was a pregnant pause. The pause lasted longer than the fight.
Yes, there it is.
Lost it. Sorry.
How much Michael Spinks got paid to sign on the top of his limp body that just was knocked out over a Diet Pepsi sign? I hope he made thousands of dollars per signature, because that had to be humbling.
So what? I showed this.
And look at Johnny. The Johnny Cochran just looking in there. That is what an iconic photo. And for Spinksy to say, "Give me some cash, I will sign on my certificate," there is. And old boy. Oh, I didn't even know. That's old boy counting him out. He's had 2 in his head. He is out ski. I thought he was saying Deuces B. I legitimately for a second thought that was the Deuces B sign from old boy, but that was not.
So I showed it on the video a couple months ago. I have that signed Marco Rivera photo where he's got a Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive lineman down on the ground, and he's like holding him by his face mask and his neck, and Marco signed that. That would be the football equivalent if that guy that he's got down on the ground, I don't know if that's Chidi Ahanatu or who that is.
Yeah, this is even worse.
Is there any picture from your football career where you'd have to be paid a ton of money to be willing to sign it where you look like is there anybody that had your number as a pass rusher that you would be like?
I'm sure there's somebody. I mean, if there's nothing that I would think could compare to this. So no.
Nothing compares to this, just like nothing compares to Iron Jock. All right, so what's a good draft in your mind for Gutey? You come back on
what
Monday.
Do you think? What's your like? You get done Sunday night, and you're writing your 15th article for Channel 3000. What is it going to be that you're going to say? I think the Packers had a good weekend.
I think they have to fill a ton of needs, and I don't think they can do like. And again, I understand need versus best player available and all that other malarkey. But the fact of the matter is, and I was talking about this with Homer last night on the Homer Hour, you want to know how you end up where they're at corner? You draft 3 corners over a 4-year span, and they're all 7th-round picks. Because I got news for you. For every Mark Tauscher or Donald Driver or Adam Timmerman or even Sheedo, there are tens and dozens of 7th-round picks that never really amount to anything in the NFL. And it may be situational, it may be opportunity, it may be they're just not good football players, whatever it is. But that's, no BS. Like, that's what makes you special. That's what makes drivers special, is that you overcame the odds to become decade-long players in this league. Adam Timmerman, like I said, I don't know what Sheedo's career arc is going to look like. I have to admit, I'm a little surprised that he didn't do better on the market, which makes me wonder if he's going to be a 10-year guy in this league and if it's going to be as a swing tackle a bunch. Will Whitaker, right? You played next to him for a year. He was a 1-year starter as a rookie 7th-round pick out of Michigan State. I don't know if we ever heard from him after that. Like, I think he caught on somewhere else briefly. Played some great golf in your charity event with my foursome that I was with him in. We lost a bunch of balls. But, like, hey, he started a ton of games as rookie. He didn't parlay that. So if you draft Carrington Valentine, Kalen King, and Micah Robinson, and those are the only corners you have drafted over a 4-year period, that's how you end up with Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, and Benjamin St. Juste, and you're getting up there in front of the new video screen background in the media auditorium saying how good you feel about those 3 guys, but even you have to admit, Gutey, that you need to add numbers there. So, first off, get some corner help. And to your point, the way you did your need picking, I think they need at least 2 of them. I also think they have to replenish their offensive line depth. I would love to see them pick a guy from Iowa. It can be the blue roof guy. It could be the center. They got a pretty good center that's coming out, too. I don't know if he'll still be there at 52. But that would be 2. And then 3, look, I look at their offense, and I think about how we were all just gushing about, oh, my God, all this young talent that they have, right? Because of the 2022 and 2023 drafts at wide receiver and at tight end. Well, I got news for you. The league comes at you fast. And right now, at tight end, you don't have anybody under contract next year. Like, we all know they're going to re-sign Tucker Kraft. They are not letting him out the door. He doesn't want to leave. They will get it figured out. But I don't see any reason why they would re-sign Luke Musgrave. I have no reason to believe they're going to do that. So they need somebody there. And again, all joking aside, and I really would love for Chris Brazzell to be on the board when they pick at 52. They have to. They're not, after trading Dontavion Wicks, who was in the last year of his deal too. They need to backfill at that position also, which we never even thought about wide receiver the last 2 years after the picks that they'd made in 22 and 23. That's how I view it.
I don't know. We were raving about picking Matthew Golden first round, and then
did we think they would actually do that though? Did we think they would actually do that?
A wideout? Yeah, I thought last year there was a good chance that was going to happen.
I was skeptical. I was surprised. And when Mark Murphy got up there and made that pick, and then Gutey later said that he'd actually given him a different name, which was a pretty funny joke, unless it was true, which I don't think it was, by the way, for the record. I really didn't. I did not think they would go.
Yeah,
what I
that'd
thought
be
was
moronic if that happened.
Some might say. I certainly, I certainly wouldn't say that. You know what would be foolish? To have an opportunity to go spend some quality time at Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee and pass up that opportunity. Because, look, you don't have to be someone who loves to play poker or hit the slot machines to have a great time there. There's all kinds of ways to have fun and have a great time at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Start with the stay. Over 500 rooms and luxury suites. They're the biggest rooms in all of Milwaukee. You can't beat that, right? Not only that, you also have the opportunity to go to all the different great restaurants that you love, whether it's the Dream Dance Steakhouse, all kinds of great restaurants. And on top of that, you also have the opportunity to celebrate big events, birthdays, wedding anniversaries, weddings. They've got great spaces that make that perfect as well. So everything you need is waiting for you at Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee. Make sure you make your plans today. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
May is Skilled Trades Month, a time to celebrate the hands-on careers that keep our industries and our communities moving forward. At Junior Achievement, students are discovering that today's skilled trades include technology, robotics, and smart manufacturing. With support from Rockwell Automation, students are exploring how advanced manufacturing and automation will power the factories of the future. Thank you, Rockwell, for helping inspire the next generation of technicians, engineers, and innovators. Learn more at ja.org.
Wisconsin weather doesn't ease into spring. It keeps you guessing. That's why your windows and doors need to handle everything. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we build for year-round comfort. Now get 0% interest until 2030. That's years of no interest, so you can upgrade now and pay over time. Plus, enjoy a free in-home consultation, expert installation, and a 10-year limited warranty. But order by April 30th. Schedule today at PellaWI.com.
Mark Tauscher here, and if you know me, you know I love Wisconsin. That's why I'm a UW Credit Union member. Their team's been all about Wisconsin since 1931, and they love making banking easy for members. Whether it's with their convenient mobile app or with the great perks like early payday to get you paid sooner. Stop by any of their local branches or visit uwcu.org to join and become a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
It's Mike with Infinity Exteriors. I've seen it all, Wisconsin. Sketchy sales gimmicks for low-quality windows, siding that costs more than a new home, fly-by-night roofers. 60,000 happy customers made a better choice. Infinity Exteriors roofing, siding, and windows all come with our lifetime workmanship warranty, no overcharges, and transparent pricing. At Infinity Exteriors, we're on a mission to save our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Look, it's Jake from our store in Kenosha.
Hi, Monica. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Rick.
Your email said you had a big surprise.
Look and tell me what you see.
Wow, I
I see 9 perfect examples of the classic diamond solitaire engagement ring.
They're gorgeous.
These rings are exactly what people imagine when they hear the words engagement ring.
Monica, do you think it will always be like that?
Evermore.
That long?
And each of these is 3/4 of a carat.
$998.
Unbelievable. So how much do we sell them for?
That is how much we sell them for.
Can we do that?
We're the largest employee-owned jewelry company in America, Rick. We can do anything we want.
But for how long?
Evermore.
People can choose any of the 9 most popular style solitaires, 3/4 of a carat, and each of them was created in the heart of a miniature star.
5 different diamond shapes, 2 colors of gold. Evermore, just $998.
Or $14.98 with a 1-carat diamond center with diamonds on the side.
Learn more at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
We'll get to Johnny Montage at the top of the 11 o'clock hour as we relive the great moments in Montage history without one this year.
Yeah, you'll get some chills with this one today. I did listening to it this morning.
How come you didn't do one for tomorrow? Can you throw one together for tomorrow? What happens if they trade up to 32 like Tausch thinks they might?
Nah.
Then what?
Nah. We're taking a year off. No juice.
If they draft somebody at 32, you're not going to cobble together a montage?
No.
Mr. Montage?
No, they're going to trade up to get some corner and be like, oh, great, okay. Like, yeah, they're not going to trade up anyway. We're picking at 52.
Kind of hoping they do now. So we'll get to a little audio here coming up about with Gutey talking about the trade that sent Dontavion Wicks to the Philadelphia Eagles. I will say this, and I joked about it earlier, or Gutey joked about it, and I referenced this joke. It was fun last year, and it does feel like a big letdown now that it not only is the draft not here, but the Packers don't have a first-round pick. Like, could it be any further at the other end of the spectrum than what we experienced a year ago, the way we have it now?
Night and day. Yeah, totally agree, night and day. Last year, juice was flowing. I mean, we were up at Lambeau. People are floating in, and it just was a palpable excitement. We had a pick. We knew we were going to probably get somebody that you hopefully was going to be impactful. And the fact that it was Mark Murphy's last draft and hosting it, it was just people everywhere. Wednesday night was busy. It was just, yes. And then this year, we don't have a pick. We don't really, we're not even part of the mock draft world, which I'm okay with. But when it's leading into it, and by the way, unless something changes, that'll be the same case next year.
I had this conversation earlier the week on Wisconsin's Afternoon News with John Mercure and Julia Fellow. Ed Policy referencing before the tailgate tour left that he would like to get the draft back here again, which is great. I mean, again, it's only been on the road now for, I think this is the 12th year. They had the first 2 years, 15 and 16 in Chicago. Obviously, everyone was in their basements back in 2020.
That was the best draft ever. That was the one. I thought that was an awesome. They should do that every 10 years. I think it's great. That COVID draft was awesome.
That, of course, was the draft in which they picked Jordan Love to be their quarterback of the future. But the draft last year here was great, not because throngs of thousands upon thousands of people made the pilgrimage to Lambeau Field from all corners of the globe. It was a smashing success because Wisconsinites made it a smashing success. Like, I don't think it had the level of, like, I feel like leading up to the draft, talking about hotel rooms and what people thought they were going to get for their Airbnb-ing and everything else, I think there were a lot of people that thought, oh, my God, our tiny little town is going to be descended upon by thousands and thousands of high-roller outsiders.
You and Domofsky were all nervous about, this town can't hold it, and it was fine.
But it turned out, but that was because those people didn't, like, there were certainly some people that came from far away, but most people came from Milwaukee and Madison and Eau Claire and La Crosse and
Manitowoc,
the Driftless region.
Bonduel. You just want to name cities? Hayward.
I was leading up to the Driftless.
Flambeau.
I was
Platteville.
Driftless region. But that's exactly why it was
they
great.
can't get any cell reception. In that Driftless region, you're screwed.
Tough.
As we found with Evan Williams. But Jesse, do you disagree? Like, it was Wisconsinites made it great, and I don't know, like, if I don't know what the other what other cities are going to put in bids, but I don't see that happening here anytime soon again. I mean, do you think it'll happen while we're still doing the show or I'm still covering the team?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Right?
I almost guarantee you no.
Yeah.
It's got to be a 10 or 15-year runway because every city should get an opportunity to host it that wants to.
Mm-hmm.
They should give this to every city that wants an opportunity to do it. They should.
Well, kudos to Wisconsinites who made it as great as it was. All right, I want to touch base on this wide receiver thing because we did spend a lot of time on the topic earlier in the show with people who might have been triggered, allegedly, me. Gutey talked about the trade, and look, to be clear, before we play this, I actually agree with him. The fact that they got 2 picks for Dontavion Wicks, I think it's not as big of a steal, in my opinion, as getting a 4th for Rashawn Gary when everyone knew that even though maybe Gutey was going to keep him. I find it hard to believe, but
he wasn't.
Okay, well, again, he says that he was not trying to trade Rashawn Gary, but to get 2 picks for Wicks when you would have gotten 1 compensatory pick when you let him walk next year, and you get some capital for this year and more for next year, kudos to him. I don't blame him for making that deal.
Absolutely.
Doesn't change the fact that there may also be a game this year where you're like, God, they could really use Wicks right about now.
Bo Melton, you're up.
My guy. But here's what Gutey said about the trade being good for both the Packers and for Dontavion Wicks.
The ability to get 2 picks for a player that, we weren't sure exactly how it was going to fit into our future plans. It just made a lot of sense. And I do think it was good for us, and I think it's going to be good for Dontavion too, because I think you'll see his opportunities increase there as well.
Now, it was interesting because Randall Cobb and James Jones, and by the way, James Jones, as they were leaving for the tailgate tour last week, I'm here to be an ambassador on behalf of the Green Bay Packers, and I really hate this Dontavion Wicks trade. I love it. Yeah. He spoke his mind, and I appreciate
love his
that.
honesty. Absolutely.
Yes. But they talked about what their wide receiver room was like, and they backed up your, view of it, which was that it wasn't always puppy dogs and ice cream and seashells and balloons in there. When guys wanted opportunities. They're all smiling on the cover of Sports Illustrated, but they weren't always smiling. Donald Driver was frustrated. There was a time where he was relegated to playing special teams. He didn't really like that. So there are those issues. I am curious if you think the streamlined wide receiver room will be healthier in terms of how guys handle their roles, etc. Here is what Gutey had to say about how he feels about the wide receiver room as it is currently constructed.
I feel really good about it, and I feel excited about the opportunities that some of these guys are going to get. It's always tough to move off of a player that you feel is as good as Dontavian was for us. I think he's got a really bright career ahead of him. The situation we were kind of in with the amount of players we had in that room, what we're probably going to do in the future, him being in the last year of his contract, it just made a little bit of sense.
So do you think that this will be ultimately, and I don't want to call it addition by subtraction, because I think Dontavian Wicks is going to find success in Philly and play well. But does it help to have fewer mouths to feed when it comes to the way the wide receiver group is constructed, or do you think that that's problematic?
As long as everybody stays healthy, it's, I think, a good thing. And Gutey said kind of what I've been saying is it's good for both sides. And this is, again, Matt LaFleur brought this to the press. That wasn't even asked about the disgruntlement. And that's a hard room. The receiver room is the hardest room to manage from an expectation standpoint and an ego standpoint. Because things are so tangible. How many targets, how many catches, how many touchdowns. And that is, in turn, how guys get paid. So offensive line, you can end up playing 300 snaps, but if you play them well, you do a nice job, you'll get paid. Running back, obviously, if you get your touches, that if you have 3 or 4 guys that are all really good, it can get a little bit dicey. But that even gets kind of under control. A receiver room is always tricky. And you want it to be tricky because that means you have guys that are good enough to make it tricky. So that's where you have to manage it, and that's why I've said before, your quarterback has to manage that, period. And that's Jordan Love now. I think he has elevated himself into this position. I think the fact that Christian Watson has elevated himself to be in the, for sure, number one. Matthew Golden's going to be interesting to watch. If there's any question, he was not happy with his role last year. He was a rookie. He had all this thought coming in. Dontavian Wicks wasn't happy. I think Romeo Doubs had learned lessons learned. He was going to go do his job. He wanted to get paid and get out. He kind of knew. Yep. I think their line of communication with him was probably the best, and no doubt that probably worked out the best. So
good point.
That's what I think everybody hopefully has learned lessons in that. Is it the best for this room? Absolutely it is. And that is pulling somebody that's out, because I do think Bo Melton can step in. I do think they'll draft somebody that will. I think Savion Williams will get an opportunity. And now you can really, I think this is about as clearly defined roles as you can have. Hey, Jaden Reed, you're going to be our underneath, going to be our, you're going to be able to catch balls underneath. Christian, you're going to be our big play guy. And Matthew Golden, you need to just start figuring out what you're going to be. And then Savion Williams will be the gadget guy. Will better be ready to replace anybody that gets hurt. And then you got to roll the dice. You can't have 7 or 8 guys, because for as much as you love having all that depth, just because you say, hey, you can disagree but don't be disagreeable, it ain't always going to work. Obviously, there was too much disagreement last year, and that didn't lead to the harmony that you need in that room of guys accepting their roles.
We're going to play a little Take It to the Bank presented by Associated Bank coming up next. But first, want to remind you that April is Sleep Awareness Month. I wasn't aware that it was Sleep Awareness Month. So it's time to upgrade your sleep with Steinhoffels. Right now at Steinhoffels, get $300 in Steinhoffels cash when you purchase a Tempur-Pedic mattress. We're talking next-level comfort that adapts to your body so you wake up actually feeling refreshed. And if you really want to step it up, add a smart base that helps reduce snoring automatically. I think Paula would be in favor of that. Better nights, better days. It's just that simple. Relax. It's Steinhoffels. Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank, is next. It's Wildine Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
It all started with a small storefront and a big promise. Treat every customer just like family. For decades, local families have trusted Sendix to provide the freshest food, the warmest smiles, and a place where community comes first. From generation to generation, we have grown together. Because Sendix is more than just a grocery store. It's home. Thank you for allowing us to serve you for the past 100 years. Here's to the next 100 years. Sendix, your trusted local grocer.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Feels like the world is a little broken lately. Maybe all we need is a fix. Most spirits are acidic. Fix Vodka is different. Fix Vodka is the world's first high alkaline, acid-free vodka. Handcrafted with natural spring water and select grain. Clean, smooth, done right. Better water, better vodka. Get your local fix.
Fix Vodka.
Enjoy responsibly.
Hail damage? Siding Unlimited is here to help. We are not the storm chasers. That's important. Siding Unlimited doesn't chase storms. However, if the storm comes into our area like it just did, we're always available to help. Why is that important? Storm chasers skip town, leaving you with a roof with zero warranty. Siding Unlimited uses a roofing system that will get you a 50-year warranty on parts, pieces, and workmanship. Siding Unlimited will be there if you have a call down the road. Siding Unlimited is your local family partner on this project. We're here for you. Visit sidingunlimited.com today, but definitely stop by Siding Unlimited's open house on Saturday, April 25th from 9 to 1 p.m.
3 people, 3 different kinds of joint pain, 1 decision to do something about it. The solution, not surgery. It was QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
I wanted to use my own body to hopefully regenerate and get rid of that pain. So it's been 3 months and my back is significantly better.
The pain in my knees was pretty severe, so I came here, and even after the first treatment, I noticed an incredible difference. If you have pain in any part of your body, this is the place to go.
I couldn't go to the gym anymore, and I couldn't play with my grandkids. That's why I made the decision to come here to QC Kinetics, and it was the best decision that I ever made for my own health. This works. Don't do surgery.
Finally, relief for 3 real patients. Lives transformed through QC Kinetics non-surgical treatments. Your story could be next. Call for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. 414-240-2298.
When storms hit or accidents happen, it's not just about property, it's about people. I'm Mandy Grimal-Lococo with Grimal & Associates Insurance. We help families bundle home, auto, and life coverage so you're never facing life's what-ifs alone. With the heavy rains we've seen in Milwaukee, we'll review your policy to be sure water backup, sump pump failures, and flood risks don't drain your wallet. Your home is more than walls and a roof, it's where life happens. At Grimal & Associates Insurance in Shorewood, we're here to protect your home, your family, and your peace of mind. Call us today at 414-332-0838.
April is Global Volunteer Month. Wisconsin's volunteers are transforming our communities every day through their acts of service. Wondering how you can give back? Find the perfect volunteer opportunities at volunteerwisconsin.org or contact your local United Way or volunteer center. On volunteerwisconsin.org, you can filter opportunities by location, organization, cause, accessibility, and more to find your best fit. VolunteerWisconsin.org is hosted by United Way of Wisconsin and Serve Wisconsin. Paid for by United Way of Wisconsin.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Brambo in the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube comments. Where are we on AI when it comes to sports information? Can we agree that it's spotty?
Better. It's getting better.
Still spotty, though.
Getting there, but it doesn't...
A little spotty, but getting better.
Not so good with the stats and the numbers yet.
So, per Brambo's use of AI, in 2018, Baltimore moved up from number 52 to number 32 and gave up 52, 125, which I think is a fourth-rounder, and a future second-round pick.
That's where he's not going to give up. He ain't giving up a future second.
I'm going to fact-check that about the 2018 draft. But that seems, when you don't have a first-round pick next year, then giving up your second-round pick, you're starting to get into that Sonny Weaver Jr. territory, no matter how much you want to get Vontae Mack. So I don't see that as viable, but, again, maybe. And Schneider wants picks this year. He's only got a few as of now. So I think it's unlikely that he wants a next year pick. I think he's looking to add picks this year. So we'll see.
I mean, are we looking at Seattle as we have to, right? As the kings of
the champs.
I still look at, I still would think the Rams. Like if I'm power ranking teams ahead of the Green Bay Packers in the NFC right now, there's unfortunately probably 4 or 5 teams I'd put ahead of them.
Are you putting the Bears there or not?
No, I'm not.
Even though they won 2 out of 3 against the Packers.
That's not me being a Bears hater by any stretch, or listening to my priest discuss the Bears. Like that's not why
I got to watch that.
I
got to watch that homily.
I look at Green Bay as, even when healthy, there's teams that I would have to put ahead of them. And Seattle would obviously be one of them. Seattle might have a shot here. Seattle might have a shot here at going dynastic. They might. They got Sam Darnold on a 4-year deal at like $40 million a year, and that, like, if I'm them, I don't even think. I just run the 4 years out,
right,
and say, look at how much we can build. Everybody else is paying $60 for their quarterback. The Bears are going to have to pay Caleb. If he is as good as they think he is, and they're fine with him being a 56% completion percentage guy, they're going to end up probably being closer to $70 million when his deal comes up. So
you're right. You can spend that money elsewhere. Exactly. Speaking of money, let's play some Take It to the Bank.
Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank, the Green Bay Packers NFL Draft Edition. First up. Yes, Jason?
This is such good, not royalty-free music.
Isn't it?
You did such a good job finding this. Well done.
Take it to the bank. You'll take the field rather than corner as the first position the Packers address in the 2026 NFL Draft. Tausch, you want to take that to the bank?
No. Take it to the bank field. There's too many variables to say lock, stock, it's going to be corner. Now, if it all fits, that's where I would hope that they'd go. But no, I can't. This isn't like a Tiger Woods 2000-2001 playing the Masters, and he's such a prohibitive favorite. But in this case, I hope it's a corner or an O-lineman, but I can't take it to the bank. Can't do it.
Yeah, I'm with Tausch on this. Tausch is right. I think it should be a corner, but the variable is a corner who is graded as worthy at 52 still going to be there? Because guess what? Regardless of the way the Packers have approached the position, no one has enough corners ever. And the Packers definitely don't, but they'll be competing with other teams that also are looking for corner help. Next.
Take it to the bank. The Green Bay Packers will draft a quarterback in the 2026 NFL Draft. Tausch?
No, don't take it to the bank. I think in a perfect world they would. I don't think they're worried about it. I think Gutey is looking at this and saying, we got a long runway with Jordan. Matt LaFleur did miracles with Malik Willis. He's got a couple of guys in there that he feels like, and they can always go grab a veteran if needed. I think he's putting this on LaFleur, saying, you figure it out with Ritter and whoever the other guy is that they got back there. That's
Kyle
what I think
McCord.
There you go. And if we have to, we can bring Toon back.
That poor guy. Again, I'm going to agree with Tausch on this. Like, I noticed there was a question earlier in the week to Gutey about you've said you want to draft a quarterback at least every other year. You didn't draft one last year. Does that mean you're going to draft one this year? And his answer, he never says never, of course. Just like he didn't say, oh, no, we wouldn't be interested in Kirk Cousins. But I don't think they were ever interested in Kirk Cousins either. Like,
they should have been.
I think they can make Desmond Ritter something similar to Malik Willis. I just do. Now, whether they actually can or not, I don't know. But I think they can. I think that's the way they want to go with their backup quarterback. The guy started 18 games in the league.
Yeah, Gutey is putting this on Matt LaFleur and his staff.
Yeah, so I agree.
Better figure this out.
Yep.
And if it gets to be late August again and it ain't showing up in games and practice, you know old boy will get aggressive, and that's when the Anthony Richardsons and some of these other guys that maybe the price tag is too high right now, he'll go and get a Malik and say, you know what, blanket, I'll do it again. I'll strike lightning again for you boys. That's what Gutey will say.
Last up in Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank, NFL Draft Edition. Take it to the bank. There is a player on the Packers roster who will lose their starting role to a player selected in the NFL Draft this weekend. And it's implied that that means this season that player will lose their starting role to a player selected this weekend.
Yeah, I'll take that to the bank. And I think it will be a corner, and I think it will not be right away, but I think by around Thanksgiving.
No play.
Draft replacement till Thanksgiving Day, whatever that saying is that I said.
Wait, so when does the draft pick have to become a starter for this to be
one of the 17 games?
Yeah, one of not including week 17,
but not injury related, is what Jesse's saying.
Right? We're talking full on depth chart change at some point, either before or during the regular season.
And I'm sorry, just to recap, because I was so excited to drop the no Frosh play till Thanksgiving Day line. Any position from this draft?
Yes, take it to the bank. There's a player on the Packers roster who will lose their starting role this season to a player selected in the NFL Draft this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think it's corner. I think they're going to start Nixon and Carrington Valentine, as long as they're healthy. So actually taking away someone's starting job, I think it's going to happen on the offensive line. I think they're going to draft somebody in the second or third round, and they're going to come in, and whether it's Belton gets relegated to the swing tackle job or it's replacing, I can't imagine you pay Sean Ryan and then take away his starting job, but Lord knows they've tried to replace him a bunch of times in his first 4 years in Green Bay. I think they're going to draft an offensive lineman who's going to force his way onto the field. That is Take It to the Bank with some jazzy, fun, royalty-free music. Again, for those of you who don't get the royalty-free joke, we are happy, and we have been paying for royalties for lots of great songs. We just don't play them anymore because we can't use what we would use on the radio on YouTube. So we're not we want artists to get paid. It'd be nice if YouTube would allow us to do that.
And Spotify. They were mean to us too.
Spotify also problematic. What is not problematic is being a customer of Associated Bank, because not only do you get the best customer service in the industry, but if you're a Brewers fan, the perks that come with Brewers checking, I challenge you to find another team-related checking account that comes with as many perks as Brewers checking. If you are a Brewers fan, and a couple of the parents of Sid's volleyball teammates are huge Brewers fans, we're talking about this because they have Associated Bank Brewers checking. That's how big of fans they are. They wear their Brewers jerseys to everything. They love the Brewers. And if you love the Brewers, you're going to love 20% off the Brewers team store when you show your Brewers card. Up to 50% off home game tickets with your Brewers card. Express entry through the Associated Bank entrance at American Family Field. Concert and event access for non-baseball events at AmFam Field. You'll get some pre-sale opportunities there. And then savings on whether it's the iconic famous racing sausages, 5K and 10K run and walk, or the Brewers Baseball Academy registration. So many great perks if you're a Brewers fan. So go to associatedbank.com/Brewers to find out more. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on April 28th.
Turio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Tune in April 28th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Enjoy Ozaukee County's premier golf destination, The Bog in Saukville. Featuring 18 championship holes designed by legendary golfer Arnold Palmer, The Bog offers a golf experience unlike any other for all skill levels. But The Bog is more than just golf. It's the perfect setting for corporate events, weddings, and group outings. Our team brings every detail to life. Play the finest greens of Wisconsin, then enjoy a bite to eat in our restaurant or out on our new patio bar overlooking the 18th green. It's time to golf, Wisconsin. It's time to enjoy The Bog.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
We have standards in Wisconsin. Cheese should squeak. Sports and tailgating go hand in hand with brats aplenty. And beef is a delicacy where each bite makes you close your eyes for a second. For 50 years, Bunzel's has been hand-selecting the finest beef, making homemade specialty sausages, and crafting award-winning jerky right here at home. Because Wisconsin is still cattle country, quality isn't optional. It's expected. And after 5 decades, Bunzel's still delivers. Stop in today at 90th and Burleigh or at bunzels.com.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Josh DiMaggio here for Milwaukee Weight Loss. I've been on this journey since January and have already lost 35 pounds. It's been easy, safe, and their team continued to help me reach my goals. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. And for a limited time, get $200 off the spring special. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Results may vary. Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. When it comes to a home mortgage, we understand you want a simple, stress-free process, great service, and a loan you can feel good about. And for 90 years, that's exactly how we've been doing things at Great Midwest Bank. So if you're thinking about buying, building, renovating, or refinancing, get started at greatmidwestbank.com to find a knowledgeable loan officer and get the peace of mind you deserve. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Looking for a dinner that actually impresses and cocktails that keep the conversation going? Head to the second floor of St. Kate the Arts Hotel and discover the Studio Kitchen and Cocktails. Bold, bold, elevated dinners, thoughtfully crafted cocktails. It's the kind of place where every plate and every pour is made with intention. Come for dinner, stay for another round. The Studio Kitchen and Cocktails on the second floor at St. Kate the Arts Hotel.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
We roll on as we get ready for the most anticlimactic first round for Packers fans, barring a trade, since the year was 1986. Mark Tauscher was a nine-year-old running around the streets of the Potato Corridor, dreaming of someday being Rich Hallstrom.
What voice? It's Ron. It was Ron Hallstrom.
Ron Hallstrom. Yeah.
What voice is that supposed to be?
Let's try for John Facenda.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, dog. No,
someone did say your Gutey sounded like George McFly from Back to the Future in the YouTube.
Did I do
comments.
a Gutey?
Oh, let's hear your Gutey.
Yeah.
Let's hear your Gutey. I didn't hear your Gutey.
Hey, Gutey, what are you going to pick tonight?
When did I do a Gutey?
Earlier today, apparently.
Sound like Gutey.
Yeah, that wasn't.
That
good.
doesn't sound like good. That sounds like.
No, we played Gutey.
I asked you a question.
Maybe Gutey actually does sound like George McFly. I didn't do a Gutey imitation.
No, I think you did a Gutey, but I don't remember it sounding like anything.
The YouTube dwellers say that you did, and I know those YouTube commenters are never wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember doing a Gutey. If I did, I don't in any way doubt the fact that it was bad.
And it sounded like George McFly.
And it sounded like John Facenda. Sunday at Lambeau Field.
See, now that sounds better. That sounded.
Yeah, it's lower. It's good.
Because you didn't try. It went deeper.
I'll work on that. You know what's weird about this draft too?
What's that?
Who are the Badgers that are going to get drafted? Like as I listened back to some. Riley Mahlman does not have according to Dane Brugler, which is not. He does a great job. He's not perfect. He's not omnipotent, or omniscient, I guess is what I was looking for there. He's a free agent in his book,
maybe
or in his beast. But the dude played a hell of a lot of football.
6'6" and can move at 315, 20 pounds. Man, good luck. You just said it. He played a lot. I understand. He moved around and maybe wasn't as consistent as you want. I don't know what his measurables were. I didn't see his pro day numbers and anything like that. But
I can get those for you.
Gutey will find you. Gutey will tell you. Big people that can move. I don't know, Jimmy. I mean, maybe he'll end up being an undrafted free agent, but he's going to get a good opportunity to play. That's for sure.
So Vinny
Anthony's going to be a return guy and get an opportunity. He showed, I think, he kind of got the short end of the stick because he had a couple of, he ended up having 100 different quarterbacks, some of them better than others.
That's
and just
fair.
never able to really find his niche, and then new systems, and just didn't work. Good, really good kid, and I think he'll have an opportunity too, but he probably won't get drafted either. And then, when we had Mel on, and I know Mel's we're probably going to hear him later in this show. It's part of the reason why we're at where we're at is we don't have that heavy pipeline of guys that are getting drafted, even if it's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round.
So you like Riley Mahlman. Like, you bring him up. You've brought him up during your time, obviously, as the radio analyst. Like, you see something in him. Is that fair?
No, I'm just you asked me who has a chance to be drafted.
I understand. I'm asking you a follow-up question now. Do you see you see something in him. You can see him finding his way in the NFL based on what you've seen him do in college.
I think big people that can move their feet. If you can't move your feet in this NFL, you can't play.
Okay.
You can't. He can move his feet. As far as being able to take on power, there's question marks, obviously, that I think people that are evaluating him I like him he's a good human being. I've gotten to know him. But as far as where he should be drafted and whatnot, all I said was, here is a young man that can move and has a lot of experience in a bunch of different systems, and they put him out to pass protect against some very good football players, and he had some good success doing that.
He started 43 college football games during his career, 32 of them at right tackle, 11 at left tackle. Dane Brugler of The Athletic, a couple of sentences that stand out from his piece on Riley Mahlman, who he does rate as a undrafted free agent. Mahlman has a towering, narrow frame which can lead to leverage issues when he sets tall with his long legs and torso. He is an athletic lower half with quickness out of his stance to answer the pass rush or reach in the run game. He needs to be more consistent with his hand placement in all phases and relies more on his size to cover up defenders. Overall, Mahlman is a high-cut blocker with inconsistent body control and handwork in space, but the size and foot quickness are worth developing. So I had read that previously, and when you said what you did, that's what made me ask. You see something in him that it's worth trying to see what he can become.
I think Brugler there, that's a very fair assessment of Riley. That's I think literally exactly what I said without reading his article. I just think when you can move your feet and you're a long levered guy, everybody complains about short levers. He's got long levers.
No, we don't like
now
those
you're
either.
complaining he's too long and narrow? Like, I get it, man. Like, you have to nitpick and you have to find. I understand the whole concept of this, and that's why I don't like it. But getting in the right system and allowing himself to develop when you can move your feet and you're 6'6 plus, those are things you're not going to find on a lot of guys. You're just not.
You want guys that can ensure carefully the safety of your quarterback, and Riley Mahlman has done that at the college level. We'll see if he does it at the NFL level, but I know this, all levels, American Family Insurance does it.
Just like a great team needs great protection, so does your family. I spent my career on the O-line, and trust me, when you know you're protected, you can play a whole lot better. That's what American Family Insurance is all about with the right home and auto coverage. They're going to help you protect what you've worked hard for and the dreams you're building for the future. That way you can focus on your family and not the what-ifs. Insure carefully and dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com.
The 11 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes. It's Wildy and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wildy and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
$2.3 million. A recent...
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Got your tax refund? Before it mysteriously disappears, invested in something you'll actually see every day. Your home. At Exterior Pros and Baths, turn that refund into energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, new siding, or a beautiful bath remodel. And they'll take it even further with $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings during the April savings event. But don't wait. This offer won't last long. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com today. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
Screaming Sicilian, more is amore. Screaming Sicilian, more.
Italian frozen pizza. More toppings, more flavor. More is amore.
Hey Wisconsin, it's construction season and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Time.
The NFL draft gets underway in Green Bay.
Look at all of these people expecting $250 million over the weekend here in Green Bay.
We need to continue to ramp up our sense of urgency.
If they're not better this year, there's going to be a lot of seats warming up.
They've needed receivers in the first round and not done it.
With a 23rd pick.
We were watching the board and just trying to do what's right for the Packers.
In the 2025 NFL Draft.
Great spin by Golden. Man, that was 24-karat Golden.
The 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers.
It was so cool, the energy that the Packer fans got, man. I could just feel it. I'm glad the organization picked me. Guys are coming in and making an impact quicker, and I certainly think Matthew has the opportunity to do that.
For the first time since 2002.
On a night when they announced the pick in Green Bay, what an awesome, awesome moment.
They took Matthew Golden.
Draft a wide receiver.
Welcome to my Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden is a Green Bay Packer.
Love the Packers getting Matthew Golden, a guy they needed.
Touchdown, Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas.
I don't think he's supposed to grab the podium microphone and yell to the fans after he's picked.
Welcome to my Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
That is your 2025 Johnny montage. Now, to be accurate, that is after they made their first round pick. Those other ones were going into the first round, were they not?
All the other ones were leading up to it. This one last year,
Did we not do one leading up to it?
Oh, no, we did, but gave you the goosebumps to listen back to some of those moments from round one last year with all the fans in attendance and Green Bay on 3 and Murphy with the announcement. What a time that was this night last year, wasn't it?
My question for you is this. You can hear all the excitement in everyone's voices, including Matthew Golden. What did we think in that moment his rookie year would look like? Vis-a-vis what his rookie year wound up looking like.
I thought we'd see more after Thanksgiving. Obviously, he had the big play in the playoff game, but
Thanksgiving.
It never felt like he really got his teeth into the season.
I agree.
He had the one game early where he had a couple of catches. I think it was Arizona, or it was one of those earlier games.
A good game against Denver, if I remember right.
I don't know if there was injuries or if it was.
There were.
But then you kind of felt like there was some disgruntlement, and he wasn't getting the opportunities, and maybe he wasn't practicing. I don't know all of the. That's a question for you. But I would say his first season went a little bit less than what I expected. I wanted a little bit more, especially with all that juice with Jen and with Strophy and all. Everybody is so jacked up, and Murphy. You knew that it wasn't going to be right off the get-go, but oh my God, he doesn't drop a ball in training camp, and it felt Luke Musgravian to me. Like, oh, this is so great, and all this other stuff, and it's like, take a beat, let him kind of get his feet under him, and it never really felt like his feet were underneath him, and he got the opportunity to showcase what he could do until that the playoff game. And that was just not enough. I think he would probably it's a good sign moving forward, but I think it was less than what my expectations were after they picked him.
The Green Bay Packers leading receivers in 2025 by catches, remembering that Christian Watson missed the first half of the season, and Jaden Reed missed most of the middle section of the season after breaking his collarbone in week 2. Romeo Doubs, 55 receptions. Josh Jacobs, 36. Christian Watson, 35. Tucker Kraft, who also missed the second half of the season, 32. Dontavion Wicks, 30. Matthew Golden, 29. Luke Musgrave, 24. Jaden Reed, 19. So that was the distribution last season. And this is something that I discussed with Matthew late in the season, Emeka Egbuka went to Tampa Bay, and Teteroa McMillan went to Carolina, and both those dudes led their teams in receiving, right? Because they needed those guys to do that right away.
Circumstances.
Right, for sure. But I think, he did look at them and say, gosh, it'd be nice to have that kind of impact. So my corollary question then is, because I agree with your assessment, and Matthew Golden agrees with your assessment, right? Like, he expected to have a much greater impact, too.
For sure he did.
What do you expect? Like, if he has, here were Romeo Doubs' numbers last year. 55 receptions for 724 yards and 6 touchdowns. The crazy stat about Romeo Doubs is he never had a 1,000-yard season. He never had a 100-yard regular season game, but he had 2 100-yard games in the playoffs out of a possible 4 games he played, which is crazy. If Matthew Golden catches 55 passes for 724 yards and 6 touchdowns the way Romeo Doubs did a year ago, are you happy?
I think for year 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if Watson stays healthy, all of the things, Tucker Kraft. I think it's going to be, it's going to be a fight for that ball. If you got those 2 guys healthy and Jaden Reed, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong. I know Jaden missed a ton of games last year. He's been the leading receiver when he's been healthy.
First 2 seasons led them in receptions, yes.
Old boy wants to eat.
And he's
Tucker's
in a contract.
going to want to eat. Watson's going to want to eat. Golden's going to want to eat. It's probably why Dontavion Wicks is getting Philly cheesesteaks. Because there wasn't enough food here.
Good one.
For old boy.
Yeah.
So I think to sit here and think that Matthew Golden's going to be Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, I think is unrealistic. But, again, things change real quickly in this league. Real quickly. And you have to be super optimistic about what you saw in that playoff game. He's got wiggle. He's got top-end speed. It's just a matter of figuring it out and finding his role and then just outplaying it and growing into another role. Because I think in a perfect world, Green Bay would love to see Matthew Golden pop and almost say he's going to be the number 1 wideout moving forward, and then that gives them the leverage to maybe not have to pay a Christian Watson $40 million.
Yeah?
Like that, you look at this, because if they're going to pay Tucker Kraft top dollar, which they're going to, Christian Watson's injury history is still going to be a concern, regardless of how good he plays. Matthew Golden, if he elevates himself and you could see him as your number 1 moving forward, does that change your math, what you do with Watson? And then, in turn, does that change your math, what you do with Reed? And then if that changes what you do with the guy you're drafting brazenly in the first round, all of a sudden, all of this thing changes. So Matthew Golden was drafted. Let's not kid ourselves. He's drafted to be number 1 wideout. Mm-hmm. You don't take a kid number 23 and all that fanfare, all that excitement to say, you know what, you'll be a nice 3 or 4 for us. They want him to elevate.
Yeah.
They want him to be that number 1 wideout. They'd love to pay him in 2 years. You pay Jaden Reed, a top 3, low 2, and you let Christian Watson kind of, all right, maybe you can get him at a more reasonable rate, and all of a sudden now you feel great about your receiver room for the next 5 or 6 years.
Matthew Golden in that playoff game against the Bears, 4 catches for 84 yards, including a 36-yarder and a touchdown.
Yeah,
his first NFL touchdown after not getting a touchdown in the regular season. And Romeo Doubs.
If they draft your guy in that 52nd pick, it's lights out for Watson. His days are done here.
How do we? And by the way, Romeo Doubs in that
or
game,
Reed, one of the two.
8 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown as well. Reed, Watson, Golden, and Dobbs all had touchdown catches in that game. Wicks, by the way, inactive with a concussion. Where do you come down on Watson? Because we have been a pro-Watson program, really, from the time that he was being.
You've been rough on him. I've been. Wow, you called him spindly.
First of all, I called him wiry. Secondly,
I've been rough on him.
He has. Jesse compared him to Alan Lazard.
See, good thing he doesn't miss time with hurt feelings, because I might have said a few things about him over the years.
That was a moronic take. You're not a moron, Jesse, but that was a moronic take.
I understand, and I accept that feedback.
I like Christian Watson a lot. I like him as a dude. I like him as a unicorn player. I think it's unfair in recent years to ding him. The 2024 season, he started 15 of the 17 games, and he shouldn't have been on the field for the finale in which he tore his ACL. The only reason they played him was because he wanted to play when Romeo Doubs was sick. And looking back on that, they should no, we don't need you today. We'll be fine. Because they didn't really, they had a chance to win the game. They didn't sit all their guys like they did in the famous Minnesota game that I covered. But they didn't have a lot to gain, and you saw that kind of influence their approach a little bit. More durable than he probably has gotten credit for in the last 2 years. The ACL tear, a major injury. How do you view him? Because this is what it's all about, is figuring out what is a good deal for him and for the team that keeps him here. Gutey said he thinks it would be best for both sides for them to get something done. But Gutey probably has a number in mind when he says that.
Yeah, I would think it's going to be in the high 20s is where Gutey's going to feel comfortable, and I'm sure Watson's looking at it like I need to be in the high 30s. And he's probably given something. So if you mesh and get into the middle of that's a lot. Christian Watson you said he's a unicorn. He's a stud. He's fast. He's tall. He's gotten better. He's a leader. He's somebody you want in your locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a perfect world, you're going to have to factor in that he has had injury issues. Like, it's just, that's the reality. And if
you're right.
There's going to be a lot of teams that will want him on their team because that high-end speed is just – he's a great leaper. He is everything you want. You give me grief all the time, but he's in the same sentence as Randy Moss in his rookie season. That doesn't happen by accident. That doesn't happen to Alan Lazard, Jesse. I haven't heard Lazard be compared to Moss in anything. So Christian Watson is a stud. I'd love to have him on this football team for the next 4 or 5 years. But if there's going to be a monster contract that's handed out, it's going to have to be on the Packers side of this. And I'm not sure that's going to be how it plays out. So we'll see. If I'm Green Bay, I am treading carefully with it. And you do want to see where Matthew Golden is, because at the bottom line on this is I don't want to be in a Cincinnati Bengals situation. I'm not interested in paying top dollar on wideouts, especially if my quarterback is as good as he is. I don't need that. I want young guys coming in. I want to have my guy. I want my Devontae, my Jordy, my Randall. I want that. Randall Cobb was never really a 1. Randall Cobb was always a 2.
Mm-hmm.
And he was paid very well. And as long as you're in that zone where you're in that elevator era, I'm fine with it. It's when you start getting into the older and you're breaking down a little bit, Christian has to showcase that he can get through a full season healthy. That I do believe.
Let's give away some Iron Jock gear, shall we, old boy?
Sure. Well, Jesse, I don't know what number I'm going to go with yet, but I do know this as a former athlete. I've worn just about every workout gear there is. Nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you work. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Now through April 26, you get 35% off all orders, excluding clearance items, Jason, when you spend $100. Iron Jock helps you look good, smell good, and keep showing up. So shop now at ironjock.com. And now it is time to win an Iron Jock hat. Caller number 86 to win an Iron Jock hat at 844-770-3776.
86.
Yeah, 1986, last time we didn't have a first-round pick. Thought that was a good mesh point.
There you go. Caller 86 right now, 844-770-3776. Wins from Iron Jock. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on April 28th.
Turio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Tune in April 28th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Join Cousins Club Rewards today. Grab your first sub and your next one could be free. After your first qualifying purchase, you'll earn a free sub and start collecting points for free food, exclusive deals, and even Cousins gear. Sign up today. It's fast and easier than ever on the Cousins Subs app. Earn points online, on the app, or in store. However you enjoy Cousins Subs, your rewards are right at your fingertips. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
One of the most important concepts in sports is don't drop the ball. Are you dropping the ball with your estate plan? When was it last updated? Have you even done one at all? It's ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wilde for Walney Legal Group. There's a lot at stake for you and your family when it comes to wills, trusts, probate, and elder planning. At Walney Legal, that's all they do. Tailored documents. No confusing legal jargon. Just thoughtful guidance. Do the blocking and tackling to protect your family. Start a conversation today at walneylegal.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
You know, I mean, your home is about as personal as it gets, right?
We want to build a relationship with homeowners, not only educating them, but we're getting to know them and allowing them an opportunity to get to know us.
Yeah, the interview goes both ways. Mm-hmm. Getting to know people while also serving them. It's so much more than just, okay, we're replacing your roof.
Besides that, it's just the right thing to do. See how Big Fish Contracting is renovating homes and redeeming an industry at bigfishcontracting.com.
Wisconsin, let's talk about something near and dear to my heart. Beer. Specifically, great beer. And if you haven't met Yuengling yet, allow me to introduce you. Yuengling is the oldest brewery in America, founded in Pottsville, PA in 1829. 197 years, 6 generations of family-owned brewing. Do you know how they became America's oldest brewery? By making great beer. This is a real American beer. Smooth, rich, and finally here in Wisconsin. So grab a Yuengling, raise a glass, and and celebrate history the way it was meant to be celebrated, by drinking it. Yuengling, the oldest brewery in America. D.G. Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
2026 Brewers Group tickets are on sale now, and planning your next event at American Family Field has never been easier. Whether it's a company outing, family reunion, or night out with friends, bring your group of 15 or more to the ballpark and enjoy up to 25% off single game tickets with no service fees. All Brewers home games are available now. Start planning today, and a Brewers Group ticket rep will handle the rest. But hurry, tickets are moving fast. Plan your 2026 outing at brewers.com/groups.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Conversation with Mel Kiper coming up.
Jason, I need to clarify. My brother just texted me saying he didn't say moronic. He said I was drunk, which I don't know if those two things go hand in hand. About the Randy Moss, Christian Watson comp that I bring up on this show almost every time we talk about Christian Watson.
Fairly frequently, yeah. Mm-hmm.
His rookie season, touchdown-wise,
5-game stretch.
5-game stretch when he was healthy his rookie year. By the way, Packer wideouts as rookies not been overly productive. Christian Watson was on the same trajectory as Randy Moss in that 5 or 6 game stretch. The only guy that even gets mentioned in that sentence was Christian Watson and Randy Moss. That is where my parallels are.
True. And you had that stretch of 5 or 6 games where you were Anthony Munoz as a rookie. I remember that vividly as well.
No, come on. And that's where when people say that and do that, this is what Christian Watson did in that 5 or 6 game stretch was unbelievable.
But
it was a burst. It was a snapshot. And what do you and Homer always say?
Man.
What do you and Homer always say? What do you and Homer always say?
He's not a young player
about rookies
anymore.
Stop. That is the most annoying anymore. That was moronic. If I could have, that would have been
I finally side with one of your brothers after besmirching the movie theme they did, and now here we are getting after it.
That wasn't your Gutey voice, was it?
It sets a tone for what Watson at his peak could be, and that was so. I never once said he's Randy Moss. I said he's the only comp that can be in the same sentence as that rookie, because Randy Moss is a rookie. He blanked up Ron Wolf's world. Ron Wolf said, to hell with drafting best player available. I'm drafting every corner I get my hands on. And by the way, probably wasn't the right strategy from Ron. If he had to go back and tell you, he'd say, probably blank that up, right?
He got a really good one in the 3rd round until he was disgruntled. He used the 2nd round pick to turn him into the all-time leading rusher in Packers history, so it worked out okay. But, yes. Drunk, huh? Okay.
Yes.
He's not young anymore. And I'm not young anymore either. That's why I need to get my act together. And that's why I've got Walney Legal Group helping me with my estate planning. Wills, trusts, probate, elder care, and special needs planning. They offer a customized, personalized experience for everyone. And like they call it, and it's absolutely true, an uncomfortable necessity. And I was uncomfortable, and now I accept the fact that it's a necessity. They make it smooth, easy, and as painless as possible. Their motto is lawyering the way it should be, with clear communication, which is better than I'm doing right now, niche expertise, personal service, and a modern approach. So, start the process so you can make sure that the people you care about are taken care of. Go to WalneyLegal.com. That's WALNY legal.com to start a conversation no matter what phase you're in. Walney Legal, WALNY legal.com.
All right, so now he's getting after me some more. For a game and a half, The Miz is in the same sentence as Satchel Paige. Come on. I appreciate the feedback. That was a great snapshot. And by the way, people are excited about Miz. I don't know if they're as excited about him as Satchel Paige. Yeah.
I don't know which of your brothers that was, but God bless his heart, because he's right, and we appreciate his contributions to the program. Mel
he doesn't
Kiper.
feel like you appreciate his contributions.
I appreciate his. Yours, not as much. Mel Kiper is next. Stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
No matter what business you're in, as the #1 SBA lender in Wisconsin, Summit Credit Union helps your vision take shape with loan programs, great rates, and strategic solutions.
Awarded the #1 SBA lender by the Small Business Administration of Wisconsin in 2025.
Vortex Golf makes rangefinders for serious golfers who need an accurate number every time. With 3 options, the Blade, Blade Slope, and Anarch, there's a Vortex rangefinder that fits your game. Crystal clear optics and features like image stabilization keep you steady in big moments. Plus, every Vortex Golf product is backed by a no-questions-asked lifetime warranty. If you're looking for an accurate number every time, Vortex Golf belongs on your bag. Grab yours and everything you need for golf season in Wisconsin at Shields.com.
When Milwaukee families need help, the United Way is there, reducing barriers to employment, providing transportation, safe and stable homes, and more for over 192,000 people.
And this month, CUNIS is proud to stand beside them. Hi, I'm Bill Eater with CUNIS of Milwaukee.
And I am Tony Avery with the United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha County. During the CUNIS Drives Milwaukee 1000 event, they're donating $100 to the United Way for every vehicle sold.
Our goal this month is simple: 1,000 vehicles across 3 CUNIS Milwaukee dealerships.
For a $100,000 donation to the United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha County.
To help us reach our goal, you'll find incredible deals on all new and pre-owned vehicles at our 3 locations in Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Hope Chevrolet on West Metro Auto Mall.
Be a part of driving Milwaukee forward at the CUNIS Drives Milwaukee 1000 event.
Start your search today at CUNISMKE.com. That's CUNISMKE.com.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. 414-240-2298.
Your local bar could be your ticket to a global stage. Michelob Ultra's soccer shootout is giving fans the chance to win tickets to the FIFA World Cup 26 at New Berlin Entertainment this Thursday starting at 6 p.m. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at Puddler's Hall, Maddie's, and Nomad on Brady. Your neighborhood, your shot at the world's biggest game. Play for the chance to witness history. Michelob Ultra, official beer sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 26. Enjoy responsibly. 2026 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21+. Void where prohibited.
At Saturn Lounge, we know if your marketing actually worked, you would know. Your website would perform. Your storytelling would inspire. Your campaigns would deliver leads that become sales. You wouldn't need a report to tell you. Visit SaturnLounge.com today. When marketing works, it shows.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Wilde and Tausch and Jesse. I think we need to change the name so we can get you, into the actual title.
No.
Wilde and Tausch with Jesse?
No.
I don't think anybody is asking for that. Not a single
Not
person.
even Barb or Beth or
Not even
whoever
your
that
mom.
was.
My dad might be upset if we did that.
Well,
Does your
Wilde
dad
and
think you're
Tausch
getting too big for your britches?
It usually does, yeah.
and Jesse back with you.
I know your fake dad thinks you're getting a little too big for your britches, so I do know that.
Heard that too.
In Milwaukee and Beaver Dam and on YouTube as Madison departs to get into our Brewers coverage for today's game. It is draft day, and since we could not get Sonny Weaver Jr. or Bo Callahan onto the program to discuss their draft day experiences, David Putney, we do have our conversation with Mel Kiper from last week with a lot of insight during that conversation. So for those of you that weren't tuned in that day, again, we're thankful for Mel to keep coming back to the show after his reputation was besmirched. But he broke down a lot of this draft, and we discussed a lot of the Packers' options if they stay at number 52. So without further ado, our conversation with Mel Kiper. Mel, when we get ready for a draft like this, it is strange for us. It hasn't been since 1986, which you were just a young buck starting out as what you would become when it comes to the NFL draft. But that was the last time the Packers went into a draft without a first-round pick. There have been years where they didn't end up taking someone in the first round because they traded back. But give us the lowdown on the second-round talents. What do you see on your board when you pair that up with the Packers' needs at corner, on the offensive line, on the defensive line, running back? How do you kind of view that second-round board as the Packers' first pick is scheduled to be at 52?
That's a good one because I've been trying to figure that out with the second-round mock draft. I do a round 1 and a round 2, and you look at where we are right now at corner. A couple guys, Avion Terrell, you thought would be maybe a 1. It looks like he's going to be a 2. D'Angelo Pons, he'd be a 1 if it wasn't for size, but he ran 4.31. He had a great career both at JMU and Indiana. D'Angelo Pons, second-round type of guy. So I think Malik Muhammad, if he could be a little more consistent coming out of Texas, be a heck of a player. Does Brandon Cisse from South Carolina drop into the second? Does a Chris Johnson from San Diego State drop into the second? Colton Hood, Tennessee. There's only 2 lock first-round corners. That's McCoy and Delane. After that, there's going to be another couple going. Who are they going to be? Could be Hood, could be Cisse, could be Johnson. I don't think Terrell. I think he's more of a 2, as I said. So if you can get a Terrell or a Pond, somebody like that, to slide down, you could be in good shape. Running back-wise, does Jadarian Price get into the mid-second, late second? Does that happen with Price coming out of Notre Dame? Mike Washington Jr. from Arkansas is red hot right now. And then there's a drop-off into a bunch of 3rd, 4th, 5th-round running backs. So there's really only going to be Love, Price in the second, Washington probably in the 3rd, and then after that, Emmett Johnson, Nebraska, you got Katron Allen, you got Jonah Coleman, but they're all maybe 4th-rounders. So I bet you going into day 3, we've only had 3 running backs taken, and that's it, maybe 4, but I think that's stretching it. It would be Love, Price, and probably Washington, and that's it.
So, Mel, obviously I love talking offensive line. How do you see this class, and then is there somebody, especially on the interior, a center or guards, that Green Bay could be somebody that could fall? Although we've seen lately, everybody is really appreciating the O-line. You're seeing more and more first-round picks getting taken even on interior guys.
Yeah, that's a good way. I think the guys that I think you would look at there that have that kind of versatility to do both. I think Trey Zune III was a left tackle at Texas A&M, projecting him to guard center. So he's probably a third-round type of guy. But if you're looking second round right now in terms of an interior offensive lineman, it has some. Sam Heck from Kansas State would be one. I'm a big, as far as centers go, Logan Jones from Iowa. Kirk Ferentz coaches those guys up. We know that's his forte is the O-line. Loves this kid. Brian Parker II from Duke's an interesting guy. Probably third, fourth round. Play tackle, can be guard center as well. A guy I like as a pure guard. I know Iwane from Penn State's going to go in the first, and everybody talks up Basantis and Keelan Rutledge from Georgia Tech. I like Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. I mean, that kid gets after it. I mean, he is a tough, aggressive, hard-nosed football player who just roots you out of there. Good player. I like him a lot. Jennings Dunker from Iowa, another Iowa Hawkeye. And guess what? You can't go wrong. Remember Marshall Yanda, third-round pick to the Baltimore Ravens? Jennings Dunker is a very similar guy. Tackle, probably be a tackle guard. Maybe it depends if he's overmatched a tackle, can move inside the guard. Jennings Dunker from Iowa in the second round, at worst the early third round, is one of those guys that's going to play a long time in the league. And he comes in, people aren't going to go crazy, say, well, he's a first. I was even thinking maybe first round when I watched him play this year at Iowa. I said, nah, he's going to get into the second. Jennings Dunker, just because of it's Iowa, and it's Kirk Ferentz, and this kid loves to play the game, and he has that ability to be a tackle or right tackle or guard. That's the kind of kid in the second or even third round. If you get him, you know you're going to have a guy that's going to start and play a lot of years in the NFL.
Mel, how are talent evaluators taking in the portal, and how many guys are going to different places? And I know I talked to a couple folks last year that the money component, you typically don't have to worry about that. In the old days, you'd have to worry about it when you'd give guys second contracts. How much of that goes into the evaluation process when they're taking a look at these guys?
Well, I asked that question to some people. I think they're trying to get into, who really loves the game, who has the money already. Now you've got guys that have already secured, from a financial standpoint, a pretty good chunk of money. So, I mean, just by that, there was talk about, Ty Simpson, if he'd have moved on from Alabama, could have got maybe $6 million. You're talking about a lot of money being paid to these players now, and some of them are even just moving on. Like Ty moved on to the NFL, could have gotten a lot of money to go 3 different places that the rumor mill has it. So at the end of the day, I think you have to look at how much coming into the league. It gets back to, and Mark knows this. It's that who loves this game and who's playing the game because they can, who plays the game because they just want to and they love it. These guys are all good enough to play the game, but when you get to the NFL, that's not enough. And you can get by in college with that, no problem. But in the NFL, it still gets back to trying to figure out that intangible part of it. And with the NIL, it's even more important now because these guys come into the league. They think they're already professionals. They're getting paid. They're doing commercials. They're doing everything. And they come into the league. They just come in with a chip. Now they come in as they're already stars. They're already making money. Everybody wanted me. Then they realize that the guys they were beating in college aren't. This is the NFL. So I think just the mindset of the player you're trying to figure out even more so now than you were before.
Before we get to our Badgers and getting the evaluation from you on that, obviously Green Bay lost Malik Willis. The typical way that Green Bay likes doing it, finding a younger player that you can develop. Is there somebody 5th, 6th, 7th round from the quarterback spot that you think this would be worth taking a flyer on if you're Green Bay?
Well, the guys that could drop down. Where's Cole Payton from North Dakota State going to go? He's a lefty. He's a great athlete. He could be used in packages because he's a heck of a runner, and he's a tough kid. We're talking about a hard-nosed football player, Cole Payton. This was a one-year starter, so you can get him involved with his running skills and maybe develop. He's got that long delivery, but he was accurate. I mean, this kid completed a high percentage of those passes, and did a heck of a job in his 1 year as a starter at North Dakota State. A guy like Luke Altmaier, he goes from Ole Miss to Illinois, does a good job, but he doesn't have these drawing comparisons to Brock Purdy, who was Mr. Irrelevant. Where does Luke Altmaier fall? He's going to be on day 3 somewhere there. Cade Klubnik from Clemson had a high grade going into the year and fell all the way into day 3. So I'm thinking day 3 guys will be Klubnik from Clemson, Altmaier from Illinois, and like I said, where does Cole Payton fall? I think he could go as high as the 4th round, but if he gets into the 5th, 6th round, you're going to get something out of him because athletically, with his speed, his size 6'3", 230, he can run. He's super athletic. He's incredibly tough. He can be, and people said Taysom Hill. You can utilize him kind of like that. And does he develop into enough of a passer? He's got that long delivery, but good arm strength. I think he's an interesting guy there. And like I said, Altmaier, if you're looking for maybe that Brock Purdy type, that would be Altmaier from Illinois.
You mentioned Pons, and Tausch and I, obviously, as Big Ten guys, and we saw what he did. He plays for the national champs, but he is not a big dude. So how do you project him in the NFL? Because there is no question that corner is a need. We would love to see him in Green Bay, but as we learned from Ron Wolf many years ago, taking undersized corners is not something the Packers generally want to do. How do you see him playing out in the NFL? And if the Packers took him, would you think that was a smart move at 52 if he's there?
He's one of those guys that you just say, he's just a baller. I mean, he's going to play above and beyond what he is, like I say, from a size standpoint. He's got great instincts and awareness. You saw him get the pick six against Dante Moore in the Oregon game right off the bat, flipped the script right on them immediately, put him behind 7-0 before he could blink. So I think he was at JMU doing the exact same thing. And I said all along, I hope JMU gets some residuals for what Indiana did, because without those JMU kids, Indiana wouldn't be where they are. And Pons was one of those guys. Surratt was another, and Fisher. I go on and on and on with those JMU kids. That were Kalen Black, running back. I mean, that list, I mean, there was 14 of them, 7 left. They had 7 more this year. So at the end of the day, now they're gone. Now this will be the first year for Sig. Let's see what Sig does without the JMU help, right? But to the Pons point, yeah, no. In the second round, with a kid that has his ball skills, his toughness, ran 4.31. He's just a slot corner. These guys are valuable guys. So to me, you got to be physical, and he is. So I look at him as a guy second round. I think if people were thinking third round before he ran that 4.31. That 4.31 put him solidly in round 2.
All right, 2 more things so you can get back to your board. One, Tausch asked you about the Wisconsin players, and I have to be honest, in all the years you've joined us, even when you've been having your reputation besmirched, it feels like there's a hell of a lot of Wisconsin players to talk about, and in the last few years, not nearly as many. Is Wisconsin viewed differently, or are their players viewed differently now in the Fickle era vis-a-vis what they were, Alvarez, Bielema, Paul Christ? It just felt like our alma mater was churning out more true blue NFL prospects than we have seen in the last several years.
Well, that's why you see the record the way it is. The record and it leads to the prospects. And you can see when the record, because what Parcells, you are who your record says you are, right? And this is the big year for Fickle and company. When you come in there, and Jim Leonard was the guy, and they went with Fickle instead of Jim. And we know what Jim is. He's a legend in Wisconsin for obvious reasons. Great player, great coach. And you had a mode of operation there. And at Camp Randall in Madison, there's a way to win football games. There's a way to recruit those players that can win those football games in Madison for the Wisconsin Badger program. And when you think, I always worry when I hear people, I'm going to take it to another level. Well, good luck. And the bottom line is, in this era, it's about money anyway. If you get the right players, but you have to have you have to have an identity. And I think that's what they're searching for. What's the identity of this football team? We knew what it was at Wisconsin for all those years. For all those, you knew exactly what Wisconsin was. They had their identity. Now you're trying to go a different direction. What's that identity going to be? And this is obviously the schedule. I understand Notre Dame right out of the gate, but look at that schedule. If you can't win 8-9 games with that schedule, there's a problem. I mean, there's a problem. 8 or 9 games should be automatic with Wisconsin with that schedule that they have this year. So, and anything less than that, then obviously there's going to be issues. But if you talk about a hot seat, there's a reason why Luke Fickell's on a hot seat. You got to produce players. But like I always said, that's when they say Notre Dame when Lou Holtz said, when you produce first and second round prospects that means that you've got a team that can compete for playoffs and national title. If you don't, then you're not even close to that. So you can always equate draft choices and how many you have with the success of that team. You just can. So, yeah, sometimes teams overachieve and they get the most out of what they have. Even Indiana this year. They got Omar Cooper Jr. is going to be out. Surratt's going to go. These guys are, Indiana's producing. Pons, they're producing players. You can get by once in a while with overachievers and this and that, but in this day and age with the NIL and all that, you got to have high draft choices. And if you don't, you can see what the record is. And like I say, you are who your record says you are, and for Wisconsin, that record better be this year, like I say, minimum of 8, and hopefully up around 9-10 wins.
All right, Mel, before we let you go, my one disappointment of the draft being in Green Bay last year, because everything else was easier, including I didn't have trouble parking at Lambeau, was that I didn't see you. I was hoping I would get to connect with you. It didn't happen. I am curious, what you thought of your experience last year, if you had any disappointments. I don't know if you got to see Tausch and, get after him a little bit or at any point during the time that you were here. But now it's headed to Pittsburgh. It's one of the reasons why it snuck up on us, because we don't have all the build-up here in Green Bay. How was your experience in Green Bay when you were here last year?
One of the best experiences, I'm not just saying this as one, I said this thing, one of the best experiences we've had since the league took the draft out of New York was Green Bay. It was phenomenal. The people there are incredibly nice and welcoming. The weather cooperated. We had a great time. I came there. I lost my voice when we first got there. Did a Sports Center segment on Wednesday before the draft. Lost my voice completely. Went over. There was a restaurant right by the hotel. People couldn't be nicer. Looking at the piers. People out fishing on the pier. Looking out at the water. Beautiful. And they got better. Voice came back. Had a great 3 days. Everything was perfect. I couldn't be happy. On a scale of 1 to 10, Green Bay was an 11. Okay, and I would go back there. In fact, everybody was excited. The Ravens were out there. Everybody went out there with my group, my son-in-law, his best friend. We were all out there, and they were all saying to my daughter, "You should have come." But we have a 1-year-old granddaughter, couldn't do it. So Green Bay is now a place I think to just be at Lambeau. It's a bucket list thing anyway. To be able to walk around Lambeau, see that was the first time I'd ever been out there. So that was phenomenal for me. I've been to Madison, never to Lambeau for whatever reason. It just never happened. So for me, an 11 or 15, and I hope Pittsburgh can come close to that, because Green Bay and Nashville were the two best experiences for me in terms of outside of from when we left New York.
Thanks again to Mel. He was great. Again, it's always great when he joins us. We will wrap things up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
No first-round pick for Green